Okay, I'm going to call the meeting to order. It is 6 p.m. on March 31st, 2022. And everybody's in? Okay. So everybody knows we are recording the meeting via Zoom. It is also being streamed Zoom. We have a thing called an owl here. So as you talk, it will actually pan on you. And be able to show who you are. You'll be seen up on the TV. We're also televising via WCAT 12, which is our local access network. Okay. Can I have everybody stand? Oh, and Derek's also streaming via Facebook also. So we're all over social media now. Okay. Can I have everybody stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everybody. Okay, so the first thing on our agenda is a dangerous dog hearing. There was a bite in town which was reported to the animal control officer, and a dangerous dog hearing was requested because there was an actual physical bite involved. Full disclosure, the animal control officer is Tamara Dufresne, who is also my wife, okay? I'm disclosing that so everybody knows. I don't need to recuse myself because there is no money, no financial, nothing. It is a hearing with a third party, so there's nothing benefiting my family in any way. If anybody involved in the dog hearing that's involved in it has any issues or feels that I cannot be partial or unbiased in any way, I will recuse myself and we'll have it decided by the two other selectmen. Do we have all parties for the dog hearing here?
Yep.
Okay, and who are you folks?
Dennis McGarry is my wife, Melody McGarry. We're the dog owners.
And you're the dog owners, okay. Ma'am, what's your name?
I'm Elizabeth Gittins, and I am the neighbor, and this is my husband, David Sexton.
Okay, all right. Do any of you feel that I cannot be impartial or fair in the dog hearing based on my relationship with the
No issue.
No issues? Okay, thank you. All right. So, with that said, we're gonna have everybody involved that's gonna be providing information for the dog hearing. I'm gonna need you to stand up and we're gonna raise our right hand and we're gonna swear in, okay? All right? So if everybody involved in the dog hearing, please stand up, raise your right hand, and repeat after me. I solemnly swear and sincerely declare and affirm that the evidence I shall give will be the truth and the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
I solemnly swear
Sincerely declare and affirm that the evidence I shall give will be truthful, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Okay. Thank you, everybody.
break it up into smaller parts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one line.
Yeah, but you're reading it, you're looking at it.
Yes.
It's easier for you.
We'll put it up there, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Now, to start it off, I'm going to have the animal control officer identify what happened on that night and try to give us a background. To be honest, I knew a dog bite happened, and this is the first we're hearing with the details of what's happening. Okay. Tammy, can you please?
Okay, so this
Please.
past Friday.
When you,
yes.
can you just make sure you identify yourself? That's the other thing, if anybody's gonna be speaking, identify who you are, and if you work for a town department, what town department or who you're representing. Because we get a lot of people online, they don't know who people are sometimes, and they, we need to give all that information. Okay.
Okay, so I'm Tamara Dufresne, I typically go by Tammy. I am the animal control officer and animal inspector for the town of Warren. This past Friday, that was April 22nd, I received a call from Rutland Regional Dispatch that a dog bite took place. And I was given the contact information of the neighbor who had reported it in. I called her and she stated that the dog had bitten the housekeeper in the wrist, and it was a pretty severe bite. And I found out from Detective Neal and also Wing Memorial Hospital that the person who was bit did in fact seek treatment at the emergency room. The person who called it in, the neighbor, stated that her son had been bitten by this dog before. And I later received a call from another neighbor the same day that she has been bitten by the dog in addition to her dog got into an altercation with the dog. With just the initial bite, the bite that happened in the home, you could possibly argue that the dog was defending its home from an intruder. What the relationship is between this housekeeper and the dog, I'm not sure. But that is an argument that could be made, that the dog was not a dangerous dog. However, given that there were 2 other bites that were reported to me that day, the bites did not occur that day, they were just reported to me that day, I felt like it was appropriate for a dangerous dog hearing to take place. The owners of the dog were on vacation, and as soon as they became aware of what was going on, they did reach out to me. They stated that they were aware of one of the bites that happened with the neighbor, and there was a time where they had some people over and the dog went to bite one of their guests, but fortunately the guest was wearing a very thick sweatshirt, and so no bite actually occurred. So they reported while this is heartbreaking for them, because the dog is always very good in their direct presence, when they're not directly with the dog, these issues are happening, and they stated that they felt like because of all the bites that they were choosing to elect to euthanize.
Do you have any questions?
No?
Do you have any questions? Okay. Do you have anything else to add? Okay. So, do we have the individuals that were actually bitten here?
I've been bitten by the dog.
Okay, were you part of this incident?
No, the prior incident.
Okay. She's not part of this incident. I don't think we can.
She's still in a butter. Why would you?
Did you make a notification of the bite when you were bitten? Did you call the police? Did you notify anybody?
No, I did not at the time because I notified the owners and I didn't notify anyone out of good faith that they would make changes, and the fact that I had other health issues I was dealing with at the time that were more prominent. I did have to bring my dog to the emergency vet the following morning because he got bit as well. But no, I did not at the time because I wanted to show compassion towards my neighbors too. Dogs are dogs. It's part of the risk with having them. So no, I did not.
Okay. And the property owners, you guys, where you had the cleaning lady, was she at your house?
And we're the property
We're
owners
the
of the
property
dog
owners. Us.
The cleaning lady
Okay,
was
she was at your house?
They're our
Yeah,
neighbors.
she was in my house.
Okay.
or my
On our
friend's house.
property, yep, fence too.
Okay, all right. And do we know if she received notification that this was gonna happen?
I got a call from her, I believe it was her. I did not have her email or phone number,
Yeah.
so I could not notify her, but I did get a call from her saying she could not make it tonight because she was working.
Okay.
That was this morning.
we don't have anybody involved that was there that night. You guys weren't there that night, right?
We interacted and kind of gave some really preliminary first aid to the housekeeper.
So you have first-hand knowledge?
Yeah, but if they've made a decision on something, I don't think we have to add any more.
Okay. You don't want to say anything, having the first-hand knowledge?
I mean, if you want me to say what I saw, I can.
Hey, it'd be nice, yeah, what did you
Okay.
see, sir?
All right, so I'm Dave Sexton, I'm a neighbor. The morning, about 10 o'clock Friday, I heard screaming, loud screaming and barking. I thought it was in my yard actually at first. I saw it was across the street. I saw the housekeeper and the dog watcher kind of struggling with the dog. They eventually pulled him away, and I saw the housekeeper kind of cradling her wrist, and I saw blood dripping down her arm. I immediately ran out of my house across the street to kind of just do whatever I could do to help. I took a quick look at her arm and saw her wrist had a 2-inch gash in it. I could see inside her wrist, her tendons, veins, stuff like that, stuff I never would see again. I then ran back to my house, grabbed like whatever kind of towels I could find, like some clean dish towels to wrap it up in. I kind of went back and forth a couple times getting ice and things like that. The lady who was watching the dogs called the police in the interim there. And, it was like a quick argument of where should we drive to the hospital and wait until the police showed up like right away. And then they undressed the wound and then they took care of it in the ambulance. And then she left. So that's what I saw in the whole incident there.
Do you guys have any questions?
No. No, sir, not at this time.
Do you have anything else to add at all, sir?
No, I was just stating facts of what I saw when I was going.
Ma'am, were you there when it happened?
Yes, I saw the same. I did not see the direct wound, though, so I cannot provide information on that.
I mean, I guess the only thing I would add is that it's just more of what I suspected and eventually confirmed by asking the EMT, like pieces of her flesh, kind of on her face and body. But that's just.
Okay. Do you have anything else to add, ma'am? Do
No, thank you.
you have any questions?
No, sir.
Dog owners, do you have anything to say?
Nothing really to add, very unfortunate situation. We actually communicated to Tammy earlier in the week after the mandatory 10-day quarantine, which is Monday, May 2nd. We already have scheduled euthanization for 1 p.m. on the 3rd at the place that she recommended.
Okay. So you're gonna voluntarily euthanize the dog?
Correct.
Yes.
Right.
Trash.
Yeah. Do you have anything?
Sir, to be honest, I'm a little naive. What does euthanize mean?
Put it to sleep forever.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No, I don't have anything to say, but it just hurts.
Yes, sir.
And, we're all dog owners and we understand, and it's a hard decision, and I understand it's a very hard decision for your family, and it's not taken lightly, but I think you made the decision based on what you know is best. Again, we would never want to see an animal harmed. Do you need a minute, ma'am? You're doing this voluntarily, and, thank you. Okay. We can hear from the butters. Do you have anything else to add, sir?
No.
Were you there for that day?
No, we were on vacation. I got back on Sunday night. It was Saturday. Sunday.
I just want to make sure that this is a decision that you guys came to, like you I want to make sure you didn't feel pressure or anything like that.
I told you what we, before you even explained to me this whole process, we
Yeah.
made a decision, so.
Yeah.
I don't know where I would have gotten pressure from.
No, I just wanted to make sure, and then it's hard seeing the emotional process, so I just want to make sure that, that everybody's,
Thanks,
on the same page.
If you have nothing else to add, butters, do you have anything to add?
No.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
Tammy, is there any other option?
I mean, it is 100% at this point their decision because it is their property. There are other options where, we would have to, do orders of, say, a 6-foot fence, but I know from talking to other people that getting fencing right now, they've had to take out, large equity loans to be able to afford fencing. There are a list of options that, if they were not in favor of euthanizing, that, you guys have the right to give, but that is their decision, and if they feel that this has been going on for a long time, and, I can understand where they're coming from. It hurts me too to know that this is happening for them, and it hurts me to see how, the emotional process. But if that's what they feel is best, due to the amount of bites that have happened, I support their decision, if that's what they choose.
We don't need more clinics here.
You got something for you? You good?
I'm good. It just, to me, it's like a family member. I understand the plight and everything.
I appreciate that very much, Derek. We've made
It's
our
the
decision,
family's
and this is
decision.
really probably dragging it out for my wife. I'd like to
Yeah.
move on if we can.
Okay, so,
Do you have any questions? No. Okay. So we have nothing further from the abutters, from the neighbors, and you have nothing further. You've made your decision. Okay. I think at this point, this hearing is kind of a moot point because in the end, we can put conditions on a dog that you've made the decision on, and it's probably best for your family. Okay. So I think the only thing we would say is we can ask for a follow-up and to show the ACO that you've actually gone through with it on
Mhm.
Monday.
Tuesday.
On Tuesday. And upon the completion of that, we can dismiss this.
Should I just communicate with Mr. Fresney, or?
Yeah, just maybe a picture of the
Okay.
receipt or something like that.
Yeah, just notify her, and she'll notify the board that it's been taken care of. And then we can dismiss this.
Okay.
But we can continue it till our next meeting, next Thursday. And, based on that, the dog's gonna be euthanized on Tuesday. And if the dog's not, then we'll pick up from where we left off and continue with the hearing and see what needs to be done.
Makes sense.
Okay. Do you have any questions about that?
No, I would just say, they don't have to return, right?
No, if it's been done, it's been reported, then we could dismiss it from there.
Yeah, you don't have to come back.
You good with that, Derek?
yeah, I just feel so sorry.
Yeah.
I know the old dogs go to heaven and
Okay.
So I'll make a motion to continue the dog hearing for 84 North Street. Second.
Okay.
second,
All in favor?
Rich Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes. I'm going to continue the dangerous dog hearing until next Thursday, pending the outcome of euthanasia of the dog that's volunteered by the family. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. If you're, okay, Valley Communication.
Yes, hello.
It's a hard one to follow up on, huh?
It is. It is. Stuff.
So you have a presentation for us tonight, sir?
I do. So I have a short PowerPoint.
Can you identify who you are and your company, just so everybody knows?
Sure. My name is Charles Trumbull. I'm with Valley Communication Systems. I'm the state contract manager for the company.
All right, very good. We have your PowerPoint up here for you.
All right, terrific. So if we go to the second slide.
So this is in regards to possibly changing over our phone systems for the municipal building to a VoIP system,
Yes.
which is exactly what?
Okay, so a voice over IP system, so it's a telephone system that runs on your data network. The incoming and the outgoing calls ride in and ride out on your internet connection. Other than that, it's the same, it's all of the modern features and functionality of a telephone system in 2022. So this presentation, it's short, and I'll breeze right through it, certainly jump in with any questions. But generally, it'll probably answer quite a few of your questions.
Okay.
And so with that, Rich, if you could go to the next slide here. Just real quick about our company. So Valley Communications, we've been your vendor for many years now. And so the company was started right after World War II, 1945, by my grandparents. In the 50s and 60s, the company provided the technology of the day. We did the security systems and sound systems. We did a lot with with a lot of the big churches and civic centers that were being built during that era. If we can go to the next slide, Rich. Today we are 120 employees. It's a wide range of things that we do. And starting at 12 o'clock, anything that is audiovisual related. And as we move along the circle, security and surveillance, fast-growing part of our business. And then at about 7 or 8 o'clock, voice over IP telephone systems, and that's my area for my group at Valley. And if we can go to the next slide. So what we're talking about is a hosted or a cloud-based telephone system. Now, Valley Communications, we are agents for TPX. And TPX is one of the big providers in the country, and they are the biggest provider on the Massachusetts state contract. We got involved with TPX about 11 years ago. And it was after we had the tornado, and then 6 months after that, we had the ice storm. And so we all remember that. We had huge accounts that were without any communications for a week or for a week and a half. And until that time, we had been providers of NEC premise-based phone systems, exactly what it is that you have in this building right now that we installed. And that's when we took a good look at hosted or cloud, and we teamed up, we partnered with this company, TPX, and it's been a home run. The first project that we did was the town and the school district for Long Meadow, and we were nervous. 350 endpoints, or fancy word for phones, and it was the first one, and it was a home run. Second job that we did right away was the Hampshire County District Attorney's Office, and they liked it so much that to this day they've standardized the DA's offices with us right across the state, and many more. We've done many cities and towns. One of the slides that will come up shortly will be a list of many cities and towns, and just a lot of them that we've done, in addition to banks and healthcare, hospitals, school districts, you name it. So the way that a cloud-based phone system works is that the phones are connected to your data network. And so, for example, we've got two of the phones over here behind Karen, and the one on the right with the larger display is plugged into your data jack. Okay, there's no other equipment here. It's just the phone that plugs into your network, and that's the way that it works. And we'll make a couple of calls if you'd like afterwards. It is state-of-the-art telephone features and functionality. It is Massachusetts State Contract ICS 60. Almost everything that we do at Valley is mass contract. And the pricing is what we call bundled. And by that, basically, in a nutshell, for each phone or for each user, it's about $20 per month. Okay? Now, the nice thing about that is it takes the place of your current phone bill. any of your line charges, local, long-distance calling, this takes the place of that. And so one of the very first things that we do when we look at these projects, to see if it makes sense, is to take a look at your current phone bill to see if it's close to what the cost would be, because usually it's trading one for another. For the town of North Brookfield, it was $200 less for the new phone system, and that's with zero up front. So sometimes it looks too good to be true. But then there's other operations or facilities where maybe where it's more money than it would be if they stayed the same. So it depends on a case-by-case basis. Rich, if you could. So TPX, the provider, so they have 10 different locations around the country where their PBX equipment is located. And the reason for this is if there's a natural disaster in the Northeast, there's plenty of other sites around the country that can go ahead and provide and keep that continuity, keep your phone system running. And so, there's a lot of things that differentiate providers. People can set up a PBX in their garage and sell hosted phone system service. I mean, it's that easy nowadays. And so this is professional, one of the top providers with that redundancy that's built in. Rich? So it's a variety of phones that you can use. And so what we priced out for this building was 10 of the phone, the top one in the middle there, which is what's called the VVX 350. That's the phone on the left on the file cabinet behind Karen. And 10 of the 450, the phone to the right of that, which is also to the right on the file cabinet behind Karen. And the difference in the cost of the phones is a few dollars. The functionality-wise, they do the same thing. It's just the size of the display and the number of buttons. The nice thing about these phones is they have high-definition voice. If we make a call or two, you'll hear that. I mean, it's really something. They've got the headset built in, all of the features and functionality that people are accustomed to with these and with the modern phone systems. Rich? So this is enterprise voice over IP. It's really designed to be town-wide. And that's what we have done for most of the cities and towns that we work with. So some of the functionality that you get, first of all, one of the best things about it, and in doing this almost for 30 years now, is it eliminates the geographic barriers. You can be anywhere and still be truly connected. So you could be out on the West Coast and with this, or if you took your phone with you, and it would show to Karen that you're on the phone if you're on a phone call. So it completely eliminates the geographic barriers, and that's really the main benefit of voice over IP. In addition to that, you have single number reach, right? So I have one direct number. When somebody calls that, my customers, my staff, it rings the phone on my desk, it rings this, it can ring my iPad, all simultaneously. Whichever one I answer, I've got the call. If I don't answer either or any of them, then it reverts to the voicemail on the system, which in turn is copied over to my email. And so now when I go to my email inbox, I've got my voicemails and my emails, and we also do the faxes. And so you can see how all these things start to work together and become streamlined. Emergency call alerts are standard nowadays, and the mobile client, and Rich, if you could go to the next slide, the mobile client is using your tablet or your laptop or your smartphone as your extension. And that's the real power of the system. So if you look in the middle part of that screen, if I'm going to call Bill Norman, right, so I can either initiate a text message, I can do an email, I can call him, or I can do a video call. And it's just a click of one of those buttons, and it's that easy. And that's one of the nice things that I've seen over the years of doing this for so long. Now these things are just very easy and very streamlined to do. Rich? And actually, if you can go ahead now and just click 4 times, just for the way that this is set up. So the way that we design these systems, it's based on a combination of up to 4 bundles. The first bundle to the left is for a lobby or a conference phone. That one may just be $12 a month, and that's very basic functionality. For your 20 phones here, we didn't include any of them for that. And then you add a couple of dollars, and we'll say it's $15, for the business or for a standard desk or home worker. And that has all of the telephone system functionality that anyone could dream of. It also includes being able to initiate conferences up to 25 people, and that's with your computer, click to join. And the application that we just saw that goes on your smart devices is included for that. So what does that mean? It means for those 19 people here in this building, they could be working here at their desk, or they could be working home, or any place where they're connected, where they can get internet or Wi-Fi or even basic telephone service. And that's what makes this such of a terrific solution for a municipality, for a city and town. And then we go over to the Pro bundle, and that's the same as business, but it has a 25-user personal room. And so that allows, up to 25 people to dial in or click in if you're gonna initiate a conference. We did not include any of those, for this building here. It's only a few dollars more than the business. We did include the fourth category, one user for Elite. And Elite does everything Basic Business and Pro does, but it also has up to 1,000 users for their personal room that you can click to call into or to dial. And that's ideal, for a town application for the meeting that we're having right now. And so in our pricing, that is included. Okay. Rich? So, kind of a summary. So this is Massachusetts state contract. So it includes custom designing the system for your town, for you folks. And we should really be looking at the other facilities as well, because that really is what gives it the most benefit. And you should be looking at some of the other providers too. So on-site installation is included. It's complete turnkey. Professional training program via WebEx is included. They do a great job. You have your own customer portal for doing basic moves, adds, and changes. It's really simple. It's something that you need to see. And if we get to the next step and you want to take a closer look, then that's what we would do. We would show you, exactly how you do your own basic changes. Just the simple stuff that most customers want to be able to do. And the post-installation support is 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. We do public safety facilities, hospitals, you name it. Rich? So this is just a listing of just some of the towns, a lot of them right around here. And, so any of these, if you'd like to, you can just call into them. I'll send this, this presentation over to all you folks. And if you like contact names for any of them, just let me know and I'll get them for you. The reason that cities and towns and banks and facilities like that it's become very popular for this kind of technology is because they have multiple locations and they really get the best benefit out of it. We've got a lot of single location organizations now too, and they're still doing it because they're looking at it and they're saying, hey, we've got a phone system that's 17 years old and it's breaking down, and this is going to replace the cost of our phone bill, and it makes sense. So today, our company, Valley Communications, my team, we do 3 or 4 cutovers per week. And cutover is the term that we use when we unplug the old system and plug in the new system. And 90% of them now are the cloud version or UCX. Very small percentage are the modern version of the NEC premise-based phone system. I mean, like what you have now, but the modern version. And the only organizations that are doing that are organizations that they look at their cost to upgrade their data network to make this work, and it's, sometimes it can be astronomical, to run new cable and everything. And one of the key things to keep in mind with this is that if you are what we call voice over IP ready at the desktop, then this is the 5 nines of reliability. When we plug in one of these phones, it's simply looking for a clear path out to the internet. It's that simple. So if you decide that this solution or something like it, is the direction you're going to go, your data networking company, whoever that is, whoever works on your network, they need to be involved. Most customers don't have to do anything or very little. to their data network, especially if you've done any updating with it in the last few years. But sometimes there isn't, and those are costs that you need to know about. And that's it.
Thank you.
Good presentation, sir. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
You know, the reason why we're looking into this is because we've had some issues come up with phones. Our phone system's out of date. It's getting hard to replace. If we have a broken receiver, we can't just buy one from Staples and put a new one in.
Yeah.
It's getting harder to find those parts. We also can't add more phones into the building than what we have now. So there's no growth at all because the infrastructure for our phones is at its capacity and we can't branch out anymore. And they really can't do anything beyond that. So we're looking at this to see if it's a cheaper way. It brings us up with newer phones, replaces all the phones, and could correct some of the problems. I have to admit, I have a lot of reservation about this.
Sure.
Okay, because I work for the government, and we have the VoIP systems, and when you lose the internet, you lose all your phones. And it goes down quite a bit. And then they boot up. You know, the phones, when they go down, you lose the signal, and then it comes back. Now the phone has to boot back up, basically kind of like a computer, and find everything again and identify stuff. So having those experiences, I'm like, I'm just not sold on the system. And I know the government went to it because it was cheaper, and they could get, it was a lot more cost efficient for them to do overall. And they were also trying to get with the times too. I think it's no secret that AT&T, Verizon, and all them are not gonna be servicing copper lines anymore.
That's right.
And at some point, you know, the phone that you plug into your wall is not gonna be working anymore, because they're not gonna service those lines. So if you have phones that you have plugged in the wall at some point, they may go away. So, you know, with that being said, you know, we can't be behind the time on some of this stuff. We have to make sure we're moving with the times, but I don't like that it's, you know, it goes down so much.
Well, I mean,
You know,
the fact is, 2 weeks ago, it was raining outside and we kept losing the internet during the meeting.
yeah.
So if we had those phones, we would have not been able to use them during that period.
Yes, so if I may, so the power of it is that, so if your internet is down, so your phones here in the building would not be working. However, the public that's calling in, that's dialing in, their call is still being answered in the cloud. They're hearing, thank you for calling the town of Warren. If you'd like to speak to the, inspector's office, press whatever it is, and for anyone that is using the functionality to answer from their other devices, they're still answering their calls. And that's the real power of it. And so there's two different kinds of voice over IP systems. There's a voice over IP system that that is still premise-based, but they're IP phones in your building, they're running on the network, and if that system is not working, you're not answering your calls. And then there's the cloud or the hosted IP system, where it's still being answered out there on the cloud, and you can answer them, really from anywhere. Now, with that said, I mean, if your internet is that unstable, then this isn't the right solution for you.
So my question, with that said, if we were missing a call, and say we had some town cell phones that were linked to this, if it didn't ring here because the internet was down, would the phone that's linked to it, like the cell phone, be able to ring?
Yes.
Would it still go through to this one even though it's not going through the one that's internet here.
Yes, that's exactly the way that it works. That's
Okay.
exactly, now, with that said,
We don't have good signal.
Working on it. I'm just trying to,
Our cell service in town isn't good, so even like in this building here.
Yeah, if we get unplugged from the Wi-Fi, it's dead. We have no signal.
we're kind of in a black hole here in this town. And, you know, we're trying to improve things here, but, you know, I'm just trying to say, like, okay, if our phones went down here, it was being forwarded to your cell phone, and you had the cell phone linked to it, you'd still get a call then from the cell phone.
yeah, so it's more than call forwarding, okay? So with call forwarding, if a call comes in, and they go ahead and they dial Rich's extension, or his direct number, you know, nobody can, the building is not habitable for some reason. If the call is forwarded over to your cell phone, Rich, and you don't answer, it's gonna go to your cell phone's voicemail. Okay, this is more integrated than that, okay? It would, if you didn't answer your cell phone or your smartphone, then it would go to the voicemail that's on the system, your business or departmental voicemail, in which case, is also copied over to your email inbox. So this is more than that. I mean, things have been, you know, have been changing that way. You know what I would recommend is a couple of things. I would recommend that we engage with your IT company, whoever that is. You know, they may say, hey, you know what, and they all know about voice over IP now. I mean, they're either gonna say, you know what, you guys are really set up well for it, or they may say, no, you're not. You know, I mean, you're the experts, you know, with that respect. And the second thing that I would do is I would suggest that you talk, you know, with some of the other area towns, because they're all, I think most of them were in kind of the same boat that you guys are in. That's what I would suggest.
Do you have any questions?
What sort of equipment do we need here, besides the phones?
Yeah,
Is there a server or a switch or something?
I'm glad you asked. There's nothing. With pure hosted or cloud, with what we do on state contract, the only equipment are the phones themselves. That's it.
So I could take one of those phones home, like you said, away from the building. I could just plug it into the in Ethernet jack and it would be active.
Well, yeah, as a matter of fact, so if you'd like, you can take one of these phones with you, and I'll have someone pick it up in a week. You can take it home, you can plug it into the back of your Comcast or whoever your internet provider is. There's always extra jacks back there. You can plug it right in. You will have to also plug into power, as I did here.
Excuse me, folks. We're talking here, you're disrupting the meeting. Thank you.
He has it. You'll also have to plug it into power, because the way that these work, if you're, without getting too technical, if you have a data switch that provides what's called PoE or power over Ethernet, then you don't have to plug into power. And that's part of best practices. If you do something like this here, you don't have a PoE switch, because I've got to plug in. And so that would be one of the upgrades that you would have to do. They're not super expensive anymore. But yeah, you can take one of those phones with you, plug it in, you can have dial tone, you can make calls all day long. Yeah, absolutely.
Eric, you're a tech guy.
How does the portal look like in terms of adding people or taking people out of the system?
It's very easy. It's designed for the customer to do their own basic moves, adds, and changes.
So we are in charge of that, keep that up to date.
Well, for the basic changes, most customers do that themselves. And just let me define basic changes. You know, you've got a user who forgot what their voicemail password is, and you need to reset it. You know, you can certainly call in to TPX. They're 24 hours a day, every day of the year, and they'll walk you through it. They charge $24, you know, for remote changes. But that's something that you can easily do yourself. If you want to change the button mapping on your phone, You know, so maybe you wanna have David as a button right on your phone, so you know when he's on and off the phone, wherever he is, you know, you can do that very easily. If you have a new user, and so you just need to type in their name, because of the dial by name directory, part of the voicemail that you just get. And you need to type in what their email address is, so that their voicemails go to their emails. These are all things that you can do easily yourself.
We would have to assign somebody with that. You have that task.
Just dump all that stuff on Karen.
All right, you have anything else?
No, sir.
Jim, do you have anything?
No. Is it okay if I just do one quick test call?
Absolutely.
Here?
What if I go to the gym and call this now?
We'll see who's still working.
Simon Allen is not available to take your call. Please leave a message after the tone. Press the pound key to
Well,
end
you can
recording.
you can hear the high definition voice to it. Let me try him one more time.
Okay.
This is Simon.
Oh, hey, Simon, Charlie, how you doing?
Good, Charlie. How are you?
Good, good. Hey, so I'm here with a group at the town of Warren. Can you just, do you mind just sharing with these folks just a little bit about TPX? You know, kind of the short version, cities and towns?
Sure, yeah, no problem. Good evening, everybody. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. So TPX is a national provider of managed services, one of which is the hosted voice that Charlie is talking to you about tonight. We have about 250,000 of these phones out around the country. We do a tremendous amount of business within the New England region, especially in Massachusetts. We have worked with Charlie and Valley actually for over a decade now installing these systems. Done a lot of towns, cities, school systems, government organizations. We are very familiar with the state contract process. And we've done everybody from Western Mass towns to the entire state, actually, for the Secretary of the Commonwealth. In fact, your town probably has a circuit from TPX in it for the registration network. Any questions?
What happens if the power goes down?
So if the power goes out locally, your phone system does not go down. Your phone system is actually run out of our data center, which currently resides in Summer Street in Boston. If it's a regional issue, weather related or what have you, we actually have the ability to run your phone system out of either Dallas or Vegas or Irvine, California. One of the benefits of TPX being a national organization is that we can back up a regional network with national data centers. And when we talk about the system that Charlie's showing you tonight, BroadSoft is the platform. Cisco recently bought BroadSoft, so now it's actually BroadSoft with Cisco WebEx. It is a platform that is within TPX data centers, run and managed by TPX people across the TPX network.
Thanks. So let's say that there's a storm here right now, and the power goes down, and we want to call 911 or something. What happens in that situation?
So if the power goes out, then locally your phones will not work. However, anybody calling in will get auto attendance, voicemail, or even if you're forwarding the phones to your cell phone, you can receive calls that way. We have the ability to, with an analog adapter, take a call that you do outbound and throw it over an analog copper line if needed, if that is a requirement.
Now, what if somebody were to dial 911 in this building with one of your phones? Where would that go?
So we actually offer E911 services, which means that if anybody picks up a phone and dials 911, it can send out the address and actually even the room number if needed without anybody speaking. That would then go directly to the emergency service and it would display that information.
Okay. Except that wouldn't work if the internet was down.
If the internet is down, if the internet is down, you do not have connectivity to the outside world. Now, we do have the ability to provide things like alternate access or even 4G backup. We do have a managed service router which you can plug your primary circuit into, and we would then offer a 4G card, and that call would then go out over the 4G network, which obviously would not be subject to any power outage, as long as your device is still up and running.
One more question. So after the power is out, let's say the power is restored, how long does it take for the phones to react?
So the phone would have to probably reboot and reconnect it. That would all be automatic. Once the power came back on, there's then a security handshake between the device and our servers, and at that point you're back up and running. That probably would take 5-10 minutes maybe.
Thank you.
And that's obviously dependent on either your UPS devices, your backup, however you configure it at your end.
Okay, do you guys have anything else?
So,
Jim, you had a question?
Yeah, I had a few comments. Jim Dusty, town custodian. The last time we met, there were some questions and they've been addressed tonight. Charlie and I met with Karen back in March, I guess. And you gave me, at last meeting we had with regard to this issue, you asked for some references and Charlie gave me a list of some municipalities. I was able to talk to the Management Information Systems Director of the City of Lowell and explained to him what we were trying to accomplish and what we needed. And he was very familiar with Valley Communications. His comments were there were no problems. He said they were very pleased with TPX. They expanded the service from the City of Lowell into the library system and the police department since then. But he did stress one thing. He said they must have a good internet system. And that was stressed in my other conversation with another municipality as well. I spoke with also the IT director of the town of Tinsboro. Overall, very happy with the TX system. Minor issues at first, but remedied by the firewalls. He said firewalls were very important. So the takeaway in those conversations, they were satisfied, more than satisfied with the systems, as long as the internet systems were good, and as long as there were firewalls addressed to any potential problems. Both of these towns had some initial issues, not problems, if they weren't problems, but they had to work through them, and Valley helped them out very much. And they both said they liked Charlie very much as well. So I think that input from these two cities might be helpful. Could you address those issues with regard, both of them saying we have to have good internet systems?
Yeah, thank you, Jim. So what happens when we plug in one of these phones, simply what's happening is that it's looking to find home. It's looking for a clear path out to the internet. And so that's why your data network company needs to be involved. It's not a lot that they have to do. They need to open up, certain ports in the firewall to make sure that the phones can go ahead and get the access. And then there's usually a few other minor things that they need to do. If you don't have a data switch that provides that power over Ethernet, and what that does is it lights the lights on the phone. It gives the phones power. There's another way which we are using right now, plugging into an electrical outlet, but that's kludgy. You don't want that. So that's why I say that your computer network, your data network company really needs to be involved. Most customers, when they talk with their data network company, the company says, you know what, you're in really good shape for it. If not, then they will price out for you, what else you need to make it more reliable.
Did you just look at the phones in the building? Is that what the initial?
So what we priced out was just the 20 phones here in this building. I mean, really, what should be done is to get a look enterprise-wide, town-wide, for the other town sites. Because what happens is we take that monthly bill that you have town-wide, and we compare that with the monthly cost of the cloud phone system, to see if it makes sense. It usually does, but it's something that we'd want to take a look at.
Does the cost per phone go down as we add more phones?
It does not.
Okay.
So it comes out to, it's between $18 to $20 per month per phone is what it is. Now, bear in mind, that includes everything. That's your line charges, it's your local calling, your long distance calling, it's all the functionality of the telephone system in the cloud. And so that's what gets compared for the hard dollar comparison. Now, the soft dollar comparison, can't really put a dollar amount on that. What the value is for everyone to truly be connected, even if any of your buildings were not habitable. And having the new functionality like the call alerts and the voicemail to email and having those, we can't put a dollar amount on those things. But the hard dollar amount comparison alone usually looks pretty good.
So I have a question. It's gonna be kind of a part question. So chiefs, do you guys pay your own phone bills?
Yes.
For your own, so you each got your own phone bill?
Yeah, we
And-
currently set up through Proctor Communications with the PD and fire.
Same with Jeremy, you have a phone bill?
Yep.
Okay, so every town department has a separate phone bill.
Correct.
So this would combine them all. Everybody would get new phones, and we'd all be paying one phone bill. For the whole town?
Yes. Yeah. Well, yeah, for public safety, your 911 is separate, and so this would be for the business side of it, yes.
So, we're regional dispatch.
Okay?
When someone calls me right now, because they have the same system that we're using right now, which
Gotcha.
I'm not very happy with them.
Okay.
When someone dials 0, it goes to them. Is that in our capabilities too?
Well, yeah, so we put in the NEC, the modern NEC version into the Neshoba Valley Regional Dispatch in Devens, like 4 or 5 years ago. We just switched them over at Devens over to this about 6 months ago. And so Devens, so they're regional dispatch. So they handle Berlin, Bolton, Leominster, some of those towns. Last year, we also did Northeast Metro Regional Dispatch up in Tewksbury. And then we did the Tewksbury PD too, because they liked it so much. So we've been very involved.
So even though Rutland doesn't have you, they have a different system. If someone calls me, and the lady on the phone says dial 0 for dispatch, you'll be able to connect it over for them.
Calls can be sent and transferred anywhere, even to just individual cell phones, which is really pretty neat. So yeah, it can be done. I mean, there may be some merit to them switching over to that same platform for you. If you want to be able to see when they're on and off the phone, then you want them to see when you're on and off the phone. I mean, if that's important, then it will be out then.
Okay. Do you have any questions?
Not at this time.
No. Mr. Dusty, do you have anything else?
No.
So my sticking point is really the reliability. And I think that's not a fault of the phone, it's the fault of the internet. And, if we could address the internet issue and get a better system where it doesn't go down, where it causes problems, then it would make the phones more reliable, right? And we could also follow up and check with some of the towns also, and follow up, I could follow up with Devens. I know them over there, so I could check to see how it works for them.
Yeah, and Ann is the new person. Do you know her?
No, I know the new chief of police over at Devens for the PD there.
Okay.
So, I could talk with him and see how it works for him and what they use.
Right, so Devon's PD, I do not believe is part of Neshoba Valley Regional Dispatch, which is in Devon's. So it's a little, just so you know.
All right, so that's probably my thing. Well, we could reach out to others that are on there too and
Absolutely.
check some more. I know Mr. Dusty's made a couple calls too. And we could probably reach out to our computer guys and see what can happen with that. You guys are good with that. Start researching it a little more. See if we could work out the bugs
Sure.
for this. Are you guys good with, who's our computer guys again?
Northeast IT.
See if Northeast IT can talk with them and, see what they can come up with. Maybe they can come up with a number. Maybe we can look at what it would be for the whole town. Maybe it's cheaper for the whole town to do this and identify what they got for phones. Because just like some other things, like if we can do it and do it reliable, and we don't have phone bills all over the place, maybe that will be an option for us too. Or it might not work, just to kind of see what would help. I know Jeremy's rolling his eyes back there like, no. But, we'll see.
Okay.
See how it can help.
All right, Trevor, well, thank you. Rich, do you want me to leave one of the phones?
No, that's fine.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I just open up, I'm gonna open up to
Oh, sure.
anybody in the room. Does anybody in the room have any questions about
Not at
this?
this time, thank you.
No?
Sure.
No? Nothing done?
No.
You guys have it over your company, right?
No, we refuse to go to vehicle IP because of other technical issues, so.
Yeah.
We have the same problems with, even though we don't have the cell tower issues that we have in town here, we do have internet problems all the time, and we lose our internet all the time. So getting them to respond and getting us back up and running is often difficult. So we refuse to go that direction right now.
Okay.
And we have a heck of a lot more phone lines than we have here.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Yeah, we'll do some more research if you can get with Northeast IT. And Jim, can you
Yeah.
facilitate that,
Sure.
make sure, and come up with a plan, see what it's gonna cost. See if it does come up where it's cheaper, better for us to do, and if we can get the reliability. Because I think the big sticking point is having that reliability, especially with the PD. If we can get a more reliable system to them, that's gonna work well. That would be a big help.
Okay.
But I think we need to do a little more research to make sure that we're good on that factor.
Absolutely.
You good with that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much, sir. Thank you for the presentation.
Yeah, thanks.
And did you want the phone to stay?
No.
No, you sure?
Yeah.
Karen, did you want to check it out at all? No, you did? Okay, all right. Okay. Do you have anything else, sir? Before we move on?
Oh, yeah, no, I'm good. I'm just gonna pack up my stuff.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, next thing is street sign for parking downtown. Mr. Patel asked for a meeting surrounding business, we're informed. I like, handicap spots not moving, that's the law. We can't control those handicap spots.
Can I ask
and-
what the subject is?
Well, he's looking at moving the time to 9 AM.
PM.
I thought it was from a start time to 9 PM? Okay. What was the start time?
Well, it's 7 to 7 right now. He wants it 7 to 9.
So 7 to 9.
9 to 9 should be fine.
9 to 9, that's what I heard before. I thought something was 9 to 9 or 8 to 9. Okay.
So it's 7 now and he wants it to 9?
7 to 7 right now.
7 to 7.
Yeah,
So-
we do
Just so I know what you're talking about, that's
So
all. I didn't mean to
one
interrupt
second
you.
before we get,
I just wanted to know what he asked, that's
before
all.
we get more involved.
That's all.
Okay,
Just so-
you have
just
the
so I know what we're
background.
talking about, I'm going on my 16th hour, sorry.
Okay.
So I did have a discussion with Jeremy, our highway surveyor, and I think he could add quite a bit of information to this topic.
Yeah, okay, Jeremy Olson, Warren Highway Surveyor. I was asked to look into this situation, and basically I had to take it from a perspective of what it was for many years. Yeah, and so basically, the signs that were there prior to all of this occurring, changing, was 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., 1 hour parking for every single one of those spaces. So, and that was done originally, I think, with the perspective of there's 6 businesses there. Right now, they're not all full, but potentially, some of the people that own the businesses or run the business are here, but you might not be here a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now. We cannot be changing our parking and our time limits to fit the businesses that are here because there's 6 businesses, and it wouldn't be fair to change one business's time frame to a different time where then all of a sudden, what if the person 2 doors down says, well, I need a couple of spots changed to this time because this works for my business. The reason this was all set at 1 hour parking, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., was to eliminate this issue we're having right here. So I vow we go back to the original parking structure, which was done to be fair to all businesses here. I cannot be partial to anyone. I represent the town, I represent the people, and I have to represent every business. So I look from everybody's perspective. Let's go back to the original, which was designed so we didn't have an argument about this time, that time. You get 30 minutes, I want an hour, you get 2 hours. These parking spots should be for me. I think all of that needs to be done right now. Put it back to that time. I already have the original signs for there. One of them's currently there. I have the other one, it's very faded. We'll order some new signs. I already put a new post up at one location. I can make sure the other post is good. If we need to add a third, so be it. We'll put an end to all this. And as far as the handicap parking place, so the legal side of that, it's about safety, public safety, human safety as far as handicapped people accessible. You cannot have it enter into a right-of-way. So there is multiple driveways and roadways throughout this little sector. So no handicap spot can be anywhere near that. The sidewalk in front of the handicap spot has to have a ramp built into it. So meaning any other location besides where it is right now would cost a lot of money to change. And the town doesn't have the money for that. We have a lot of other things to spend it on. So basically that's where you're at. Sorry, there's not enough parking, and we all wish we could have our own spots and have our own time frames, but that's just not the way it is.
I have a question.
Hold
My
on
name
one
is
second.
Richard Flory.
Yeah, hold on one second, sir. Thank you. Do you have anything?
No, when I had spoken to Jeremy this afternoon, I thought that his recommendation was valid and is trying to be fair as best as he could to the businesses and to promote growth in that quarter.
Mr. Patel?
Yes.
Okay. You brought this in front of us. So what is your concern?
The concern is like, my business is a convenient grocery and a liquor store. I have about like 300 to 350 customer count every day walking in and out. The car comes in and goes out. Car comes in, goes out. If the parking are occupied and there are not enough parking up there, and it's very inconvenient for a customer to park on the other side of the road and carry all the groceries, like they're grabbing a case of water or a gallon of milk, and some they have children also. So it's very inconvenient if there is no parking right in front of the store, so that they can take the grocery, put it in the car and go. It's a convenience store, in and out.
Okay. Do you have anything else to add?
I have like petition filed up with the customer's signature on it, and
That's the, it is illegal.
yeah.
Mr. Chairman, is that for the time or the handicap spot? That petition?
Has nothing to do with the handicap.
No, it has nothing to do with, it's whatever.
It's for the time.
Okay, thank you.
And just for everybody's reference, please don't just speak out in the meeting, okay? That's disruptive. We all have chances to be able to speak. We just don't speak over each other, okay? So we're taking pieces from the individuals, and then we'll give everybody an opportunity to address us, okay? So one at a time, please, all right?
Sure.
Thank you.
Forgive me.
Okay. Did you have anything else, sir?
Miss, there is the issue of the parking. Miss, I understand that everyone is doing business up there. The only thing is like my count of the customers are much more higher because of the convenience store, and that's all I have to say, that they have to park their car up the street, across the library.
Do you have anything else?
That should-
The handicap spot, why would you want that moved?
Handicap car, I wanted to add an handicap spot down there because the handicap parking is already is most probably occupied by the handicap, and if the cars are there for over like few hours. So if we had another handicap parking, then my customers who are handicapped, they cannot use the handicap parking because it's already occupied. So if we have another handicap parking, that will be much easier for the in and out customers.
Did you have some?
So you want to add you're interested in adding a handicap spot?
If we can, but the thing is, I don't think that we can add anywhere, but.
Yeah, it'd be difficult.
You'd have to add it to the other side, I guess, right?
Well, that's all Jeremy too.
Yeah. The handicap's this one, right?
But I think what he's
Yes.
bringing to is because their customers are frequently, they park, buy and go. The other customers stay for longer. And when they park in front of the store, their customers don't have a place to park, especially handicapped. So for example, I'll give you an example. Before the meeting, I went to buy the newspaper to your store, and I couldn't park over there. I had to park in front of the library because it was full. And just so everybody know, I support all the businesses, but I also admire and respect our highway department.
You had something, Jeremy?
Yeah, I just, to really make this clear, that has been a grocery store, convenience store for many, many, many years. Knew the previous owners, multiple ones. And there's the other businesses have been there or come and gone. I mean, it's been kind of a similar lineup. And when it was 1 hour parking, there was no issues of this whatsoever. So, and this is when the same exact style businesses were there when it was 1 hour parking with no issues. Yes, parking is horrible. There's no room. The new design of our downtown that was done, several years back now, unfortunately, they didn't cater it to parking. It was catered to pedestrians and flow through traffic. They didn't necessarily care too much about making people stop. So that was the design, that was what was built, And unfortunately, we're kind of stuck with it because it costs millions of dollars to change it. So that's that.
Mr. Chairman, just want to add to Jeremy's comment. The parking, it's designed by code.
Correct.
So it's not like it's aiming to something, that's the Massachusetts code who drives this system, that's why it's designed like that. And I will suggest to the board to respect the code of Massachusetts.
I have a question.
Yeah, 1 second, sir.
Okay.
Do we have any other owners, business owners there?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Do you have anything to say?
I have a couple points to make.
What's your name?
My name is Igor Vashkinov. I own 948 and 954. Glenda Moore is one of my tenants at the bar. And then I have the Mass DOT office for the bridge construction, but they're probably gonna be moving out. And then I have another vacant retail space that I have somebody interested in moving into in the next few months for a gym. But the points I would
It's good to
like.
hear, by the way.
Yeah. There you go. The points I'm trying to make is the parking's always been tough, and there's not that many parking spots, but everybody just kind of, it is what it is. You can't do anything about it, and that was kind of the understood, rule of it. Yeah, somebody might lose business because there's no parking spots open for customers to come in, but there's 6 businesses and 8 or 9 parking spots. I mean, that's to be expected. So I think Jeremy from the Highway Department has really, said the bulk of it. It's unfair to cater the parking spots to one business or another. And the changing of the parking spots has created quite a lot of, unrest, and people aren't sure what, because it's constantly been changing, so people aren't sure where they can park, where they can't. It's just turned this into a nuisance, situation where really it shouldn't be, the building's in the center of town, there's not a lot of parking, you just have to deal with it. I don't know what else, changing it just only makes it worse and more confusing.
Okay. Do you have anything else, Ed?
Well, except about the petition, another tenant of mine actually went into G10's store yesterday, and G10 asked, you asked Thomas Kearns to sign the petition, he said, and he was told that the petition was to make the parking spots more accessible to handicap, the people who have a handicap. That's what he was told when he signed the petition. So I don't think that question, I'm not sure of what the question is exactly, but I don't think that front page was really shown to a lot of people that signed it. I think it was just.
The question?
Sure. To whom it may concern, request to bring back original parking sign without time restriction or change to 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. It's very inconvenient for our customers who shop heavy shops heavy products like a case of water, milk, gallons, 2-liter sodas, groceries, cases of 6 to 12, 18, 24, 30 packs of beer, and carry across the street or in a library parking lot. Average, we have 350 count per day.
I've spoken to multiple people who have signed the petition, and nobody has even closely said that the question that they were asked was even remotely close to that. Even remotely.
So, you business owners too, or
Yes.
did you have anything, Dad?
Yes, sir. Okay. My name is Nick Butt. I'm owner of the Warren One-Stop Market, one of the store over there.
Okay.
First of all, thank you to give me the opportunity to tell, and we see, I saw you over here, exactly.
Sure.
This one store, 2 store over here, 1 here, 4 store over here, and 2 store over here. When you see over here, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 parking for the 4 store. That means 1.5 for the each store, average, right? Same thing you see over here, 2 store, 1, 2, 3. 3 parking, 1.5. Same thing, whatever here is. Plus, they have an extra handicap parking too. So that's a benefit for them too.
because they have extra parking for the handicap. But this is very, very nuisance of this store, very, very nuisance. Every time, this parking place, city allow for the customer, not for the store owner. I'm not saying, my store is here, I'm not saying, anybody came over here, get out from the here, this is my parking. This is for customer parking. Anybody park any place. I show you every day, 5 people, they go on a restaurant over here, next to the post office. They park on front of my store, and they walk on it, because the restaurant have the same problem, is very few parking. They always full. So they're parking here, they go over there. They came after 2 hours. We never say, we understand that. People go on a restaurant, they not came on within half hour. Anybody came and they park over here, they go in a bank. Lot of time they came on a 45 minutes, half hour, 1 hour. Not a single customer interested to just block the parking and I enjoy it. I block the parking and I enjoy. Anybody do that? No. Nobody do that. Anybody came for some work. They go to this store or restaurant or any place. Nobody stayed like just for the fun. We understand that. So half hour is really not possibility. We know that people stay longer than that. City issue for my store is to be a coffee. I serve coffee on my place. So people came to drink the coffee. They don't sit with the watch. Okay, half hour, okay, let's go. And half coffee, leave it here. Sometimes they take 45 minutes. We not say half hour you get out from the here. Okay. That's not possibility. It's common sense. So half hour is not possible. And we 4 stores, we have never problem. We understand. A lot of people came here. These 4 stores is never problem. Only the store is there, that's a nuisance for the whole town. Anybody park, he's not my customer. Call the cop. Okay, lot of time happens like that. They call the cop, customer on his store. Lot of time happens that. And I'm surprised, 350 customer a day. I have that store before. I know how many customers came. 350 customer a day. Can you submit the receipt of the store? How many customers came? What a fun. 12 hours we working, then also is a 30 people an hour. It's possible? It's superstore? Why say lie? Why? Because he think like that he's a ownership. This is not a ownership. City not have sell this parking for their store. For any customer. Anybody came, they park, it's a full here, they park here. If full here, they go on a library. Anybody park, any place, they see vacant, empty, they go. And they, every time they kick out, call the cop. It's big nuisance. It's a big way, there is no time limit. Nobody stay without any reason. I think it should be no time limit. Because people came, 1 hour, sign over there, then fight again. Call cop, 1 hour done. See my camera, 1 hour done. See my camera, same thing. Best way, no time limit. People came, their work is done, they go home.
Okay.
So this is a common sense, but this is a big problem. And we know, everybody has the same parking. Nobody has extra, only except he has extra parking for the handicapped.
So
extra.
you mentioned that there are 2 handy parks on the front of that.
3, 1, 2, and 3 parking and 1 handicap.
Okay, but you said there were
And
2
2
handicaps.
stores. 2 stores, so 1.5 plus handicap parking.
No, there's one.
Here also 1.5, so there is no handicap parking. So we don't have any extra. They have the extra parking, they are also south. south. Only I am doing business, nobody can do business. Only I make money. This is the bar over here, sir. Anybody go in a bar, nobody get out within 1 hour. You understand, we know that. But then also, every time, no parking here, get out, cop, move from here, give ticket. This is a big nuisance. Or the name of the parking, half hour parking. It's a best way, sir, this is my request. There is no time limit. People came, when they're done, they go. Most of the bar, people came at after 6 o'clock. Why they go in the bar? Relax. And when they came for the relax, oh, the cop outside. They call you over for your car. So this is my humble request. So every parking is a no limit because it's not a follow the law exactly. People don't want to stay over there except they have some work.
Okay, well, thank you very much,
Thank you
sir.
very much, sir.
Thank you. Does anybody else that have a business there want to speak?
He's
Anybody
hurt
else?
my business.
Yes, ma'am.
Linda Moran.
Can you just come up front so we can see you?
Sorry.
Sorry.
No,
That's fine, if you want to stand up too.
yeah, he's really hurt me a lot too from the parking area. Because it's true, he does call the police a lot of times. And a lot of my customers park on the common now. But you have one car that parks in that section, and they couldn't even be, example, one night he called, the person was in his store, but he swore that they were in my bar. I said, come in, look, there was nobody there. Came out of his store. So he likes to play little games. You know, I've just had it with him. We just try to run a good business, and I've always respected him. But now it's to the, I don't know what to do.
Well, I think we're all looking at how we all can respect each other. We're all businesses, we all want you to be happy, we all want you to survive and do good business. That's our goal. We're here just trying to figure out how we can facilitate it all within the guidance of Highway Department and the law, okay, of what we can do. Do you have Derek's design of the park over there?
No, I never got a copy.
Do you have that available?
No, I have it at home.
Okay. Do you have the park?
Yeah.
The common one?
Oh, here?
Oh, there you go. Actually, no, go more. Right there.
Oh, geez, I know.
Okay, can you zoom out a little bit? There you go, perfect. Okay. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I forget to tell you something. Okay. This is ideally for the 1.5 hour average parking, same thing, 1.5 hour average parking. They have an extra handicap, not only that, they have a next is a parking for the library. Saturday, Sunday, they already close. And every time they use very easily any customer. My customer too, they go over there, it's be longer. So they have the extra always benefit because they have the very near is a library park. But then also always.
Okay.
There's also the bank.
So no,
And the
Nope.
bank doesn't allow other people
Yeah, they have it
to park
posted.
there.
Does anybody else that owns a business have any question or comments? You own a business?
Yes, I do.
Okay,
I'm in partnership with Glenda.
okay.
Glenda's pub.
What's your
And I
name, sir?
think- My name is Bob Madigan,
Okay.
and I think Mr. Olson gave the correct solution to the problem. We put it back the way it was. It wasn't broke. Should have been tried to be fixed,
Okay.
I believe. Put it back the way it was, 6 to 6, 1 hour. Everything will be fine.
All right, thank you, sir. Okay. Good. Any other business owners have any comments?
About prior.
We'll get to you. All right. So anybody else? Sir, you had your hand up a few times. You have questions?
It looks to me like in front of the bar, that's access, a ramp access.
Yes.
Handicap parking can be legally put in there, can it?
No, it's on a crosswalk.
What is that?
That's a crosswalk. That's a raised island with a crosswalk to it, and you cannot use a crosswalk as a handicap access. It's not legally allowed.
We have to go with what's allowed.
That was the question I asked.
The guidance with the
Yeah.
Americans Disability Act.
Yep.
That governs where handicap spots can be going and how many have to be there based on population and everything else. And highway does all that stuff, so that was all designed for that handicap in that spot because that was the most feasible thing for them to do at that time in that design. Okay. Do anybody else have any questions?
Can I say something real quick?
Yes, ma'am.
Like I support all
Gotta
businesses.
state your name, sorry.
Lindsay Ross.
Okay.
I'm from West Warren. I support all businesses in town. I have a business in West Warren, in West Brookfield myself, and we've dealt with this, different issues through the town. I support all businesses. Everyone should be able to local and frequent all businesses, but the issue is now like sometimes if you're coming in, she's waving, after 7 o'clock, because these new signs are 7 to 7, we're finding that after 7 o'clock, all of those parking spots are filled, which is, it's fine. People want to relax, people want to go to the bar, I get that. But if I have to park all the way up, can I walk up real quick?
Yes.
This side street, where people who live in this upper building who have occupied residency are parked up the street, and I have to park up here, and I have to walk all the way down the street, or go to the library parking to just go in to buy a gallon of milk with a child in hand. It does become a reoccurring nuisance because it seems that the same, I'm glad that there is a handicap spot there, and I would want anyone who's handicapped to park there, but it seems like the same vehicles that are handicapped are parked there after 7 for hours at a time, which is, if they want to relax, that's great. If they can go into the bar and be there for 3 hours, then there's no reason why they can't park somewhere else and walk across the street so somebody else who's handicapped can get a gallon of milk, go in and go out. I don't see a problem with, I want all businesses in town to be supported. I myself am a hairdresser, I get the concept, but it seems like it's a reoccurring incident when, you go down after 7 o'clock to get a gallon of milk and you have the same person in the same spot that occupies the same space for hours at a time. Plus, if they're sitting here for hours at a time and they are going to the pub, and whether they're handicapped or not, it doesn't matter if they're coming out there hours later, then somebody else, it should be, I know that there shouldn't be a restriction on a handicap spot of time, but I mean, if someone's there for 3 hours, I get that. But I mean, out of courtesy, like if someone's gonna go into the bar, regardless, if you can drive down to the bar and you can sit there for 3 hours, you should be able to park somewhere more accessible. I don't, out of courtesy, just like for everybody else, I guess you would say.
When it comes to handicap spots.
I get that.
We
Or any
really
spot.
can't touch
Whether it's
those.
this handicap spot or the reoccurring spots in general. For the fact that the 3 handicapped or 1.5 per whatever hours that anyone's stating that are occupied, when every spot is occupied, and then these spots are occupied, and you either have to park at the library or across the street. Honestly, it's not fair because either somebody who really can't get out of their car is going to bypass because they cannot access the business, or they're going to go somewhere else to buy something else because they can't get in there. So, or someone with a child is going to say, well, if I have to take my kid out of the car and carry the car seat all the way down the side street or all the way from the library across the street, they may bypass the business, which really isn't fair either. So it's not fair to all businesses in general. And I mean, like I said, I supported the business that just recently closed. That was one of his businesses. I was there all the time. I frequent all the businesses in town because I myself, the local business owner, want to support local businesses. But if it makes it inaccessible to go to any business, it's not fair to anybody else. So, I mean, how to fix problem? I don't know. That's why we're here today. But, in general, if we could make it so that everybody's on the same page where it's more of a common decency that, if you have a customer that's gonna sit in a spot for 3 hours where someone else can't park, if they're gonna be there for 3 hours, maybe going a little further, if they could walk just a little further, because they can frequent a business for 3 hours. I don't know. I don't know what the solution is.
So the
but
problem with going over to the train station parking lot, which people keep on saying, go park over there, is we don't own it.
True story.
It's not our property.
Just like the
We have
bakery.
a couple spots that are towns, how many spots?
You see the line actually where, that's the town, that's the boundary line right there.
So we only have a few spots that are in there that belong to the town. So we're very limited on what they can park in there too. We all know parking is a problem downtown. And Jeremy, I don't know if you want to talk about what we were talking about before that could, I think it would be a solution to get out there and people could understand it.
Well, we're looking into some new grant programs and actually existing grant programs that we're gonna try to tie the park into in the next year or so. And that opens up options for changing the layout of the park. You could utilize the space along the road where the sidewalk is now, moving the sidewalk back a little bit and either making parallel parking or diagonal parking as it mimics across the street in front of the businesses up that entire side of the road.
We can get.
Basically from the
How many
just
spots
beyond the
you think?
crosswalk all the way up.
How many spots you think?
Depends on the layout. You could go anywhere from 14 to almost 30.
So that could be a big solution for the parking downtown here eventually, is bumping it in a little bit so we create parking spots all along here. Also, it would allow us to redesign the common here in the future, the park, and open that up so we could have things like farmers markets, things like that, to open it up, create more foot traffic for your businesses. Because if we had farmers markets, that would allow more foot traffic in this area too, and other people coming here. Moving the bandstand back, instead of being on the sidewalk, moving it back into the park where you could have a bandstand, have bands, have parking along here, and be able to, people could actually sit there and watch a band and see these things happening. So we're looking at potential things we can do in the future here for doing that, for opening up some of the parking downtown. Doesn't help you immediately, but that's something that could be coming down the line to open up some parking spots. Okay.
What is the deal with the parking in front of the bank?
Not in front of the bank, but in the bank parking lot, in the bank parking lot.
Oh,
They have
yeah, yeah.
Bank
Oh,
parking
yeah.
only,
Okay.
because it's their property, it's their parking lot.
Okay.
They can tell you if you can park there or not.
Yeah, these spots are available to anybody.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Hey, Ann Banville.
Yes, ma'am.
I agree with Jeremy 100%. My mother owned the package store for years. It was 1 hour parking from 6 to 6. Personally, I feel limiting the half an hour parking is showing favoritism to one business owner, and it also borders on discrimination for all the other businesses in town.
Yeah, here. Okay. Does anybody else have anything? Ma'am, you had your hand up first. Oh,
Marcy Deneen, I second, I agree 100% with what Ann said and what Jeremy said, and I heard Craig's closing in May.
It is closing, most
Well,
likely.
It hasn't been approved yet.
It's not approved
It
yet.
hasn't been approved yet.
We've been trying to keep them open, we've been going back and forth with the bank.
That's all I
Trying to come with different
didn't mean to
solutions.
step over you. So.
No, but it just, again, you know, the bank, whole separate
That's
subject.
too bad, yeah, I agree. Whole
Yeah.
separate subject.
So, but yeah. Yes,
Joe Conrad. I've been through West Brookfield more than once. In the road towards North Brookfield, they did the same thing with their common. Pushed it in so that they could have parking along that side of the road. Now, in front of the library, there's a sign that says Handicapped Parking. But there are no real lines painted for cars. You might have to paint lines.
And they're probably there.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the layout for the library. I'm not
is
sure.
that private property?
No, that's on the
No,
town
we
side.
maintain it. I've never.
That's on the town side of the sidewalk.
I don't know.
Yeah, if you
I
can
mean,
check
it
it
looks
out,
like
Jeremy,
there's
to
a,
make sure that the park handicaps.
Yeah, I'm not
correctly.
sure how that's.
There's a yellow pad right
Yeah,
here.
that would be
So
a
the
ramp.
handicap is probably here.
Yeah.
And the lines have just
They're just faded away.
faded and just plowed away or something, right?
Yeah.
Okay. 1 second, sir.
Yeah, I just want to make a comment too, because John Nason.
Thank you, sir.
Ann's husband, Leona Rubel's son-in-law. I was involved with working with Nick when the business was transferred over to him. I worked at the store for years and years, trying to help Leona out. And this has always been an issue, but it's always resolved between business owners. If we had a problem with somebody parking, we didn't allow employees to park out front, you know, because we knew they were gonna be there for a period of time and needed to leave those spots open. And the issues were always resolved without involving the town to this extent. So, I mean, if we went back to that scenario, I don't see where it would be an issue because it never was an issue in the past. So, we created an issue and changed it. So, yeah, it's always been that way. Parking's been difficult. People realize it. You wanna go down to town, Warren? Go downtown. You know, when I go downtown, I park across the street, even though I'm not supposed to. Nobody's ever said anything from
I don't think
the
they're
train station.
rolling the tow trucks out there anytime soon for anybody.
So it's not only that point, but it's also a point of enforcement, right? If you start putting in stipulations of parking half-hour limits, right? Then you've got to back that up with action, right? So, you know, I understand G10's been calling, and yeah, he's got a right to because it is over the time, but it doesn't have to be, right? So it's just gonna be a snowball effect if you keep going down that road.
Sir.
Richard Flurry again. There's a piece in front of Billy's could be 4 or 5 parking spaces, couldn't it? That grass
Front of
section?
where?
In front of the golf station? Where it used to be.
Right there, yeah.
Yeah, it's pitched though, isn't it, Jeremy?
Yeah, there's some
Kinda
issues
dangerous
with
to
that.
try to do that.
There's some issues with changing that, when they changed the design of everything there, it kinda, I know they moved some utilities and stuff in there too. Again, that would be expensive. Somebody's gonna pay for it too. And the state would probably want us to do a study too for safety purposes.
Because we'll be changing that. adding something
Because
like
that's
that
a
is-
very active intersection.
Yeah.
A lot of cars going in a lot of directions constantly, yes.
Yeah.
It's already extremely difficult.
Thank you for thinking out of the box.
Right.
Yeah, any spots we can try to get downtown is definitely gonna help.
If we
But
wanted
I
to
have
make a
to
big
agree
road,
with you, Jeremy, that's probably a dangerous spot to try to put a spot.
But the handicap parking, change or not change, it's not affect that store, because already they have the 3 parking for 2 stores. Same thing here, so it doesn't make effect, like, okay, handicap parking is moving, so maybe I get the one, but they get the more parking than other store. So it's not effect them, it's not I hurt them, because they already get 1.5 parking, each store. Same thing this side.
Yeah.
But if move other side, then go with it down, open. Example, Suppose this parking moving here, then one short over here, and they get the more over there parking. They get the 2 parking per floor, and here go 1 parking per floor. So it's a more complicated create.
Yeah. No, and we can't change how the parking is laid out.
Right.
The way it's laid out, the way it's laid out. Okay. Anybody else have anything? Yes, sir.
Hi, Bob Moran. There is a handicap in front of the library.
Yes.
In order to get to any of the businesses on the other side of Bacon Street, you have to go through the crosswalk right there. A lot of times that place is blocked with delivery trucks for the businesses in town. My father and a few other people live up on Winthrop Terrace, and when they're heading back up there, if there's a truck there, they can't see if anybody's coming down Bacon Street, because that crosswalk's blocked. They're gonna pull out, they're gonna look, somebody's gonna get hit there. I mean, delivery trucks, we've always used to back in to the alleyway there, or pull off to the side of the road, but they never blocked off that crosswalk, which is being blocked off now. It's a danger for handicapped
In a
people.
situation like that, see the man to your right? He's the man that deals with that. They shouldn't be blocking crosswalks.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, sir.
The trucks park in front of all the businesses when they make deliveries. They park in front of the bar.
Yeah.
They park in front of
They can-
Nick's, and they park in front of the package store to make their delivery.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
I just have something to say that, yes, they do that, but, for an example, today he had a delivery, and his truck was on Bacon Street, on the crosswalk, and if I would've had a cell phone, I would've got a picture of it to show you. But, his truck's a lot, the ice cream truck, the cigarette truck, a lot of them park on Bacon, on the crosswalk, but I don't call because I'm bigger than some people.
Okay, we're not gonna take jabs at anybody.
Well, I'm
You gotta-
just sorry, but-
Ma'am, you gotta address the board, okay? We're not gonna be taking jabs at each other, we're gonna respect each other tonight, okay? Yes, sir.
Yes, hi, I'm Brian Conley. I have a handicap placard for my vehicles, and I utilize that parking space in front of the convenience store all the time. I have breathing issues, I can't walk very far. I've tried parking across the street, but different times I ran out of breath and almost found myself in big trouble. So it's nice to have a spot, I don't know where else to park. So, I'm the one somebody's talking about parking there all the time.
Well, we can't do anything about handicap spots, you know very well, they're very protected. The Americans with Disabilities Act protects handicap spots, and they're there for a reason, and people have to get special placards to be able to use them, and we cannot put time limits on a handicap spot. So if somebody parks there, if you park there and you got there first, and you park there all day, it's completely legal.
I try to be nice, you know, if I move, you know, if there's something open, I'll use an open space, but a lot of times there isn't, and I have to do what I have to do.
Again, we're not gonna, with the handicap spots, they're there, there's nothing we can do about a handicap spot. Okay. Does anybody else have anything?
He does have a handicap.
Yeah. Does anybody else have anything? Jeremy?
No.
Do you have anything?
I don't think so.
Anything?
I just wanna send a message, I like what you said back over there, that the business take care of the business. We're all in this boat together. Like the lady in the back, she was saying that, you know, with a baby, it's hard to park far away because it's full occupied. You know, situations are gonna happen all the time. If the business get together and help and resolve this problem in a better way, we, as highway department said, the parking lot is what it is. It's made under the Massachusetts code. We can't just play with it and say, we'll move it here, we'll put it there, we'll change this. also is not tailored to have, oh, we're gonna assign 3 spots for this business, 3 spots for this business. It's not. Parking is for everybody. My suggestion is just, you know, I like what the lady said with the baby, you know, be conscious of what's happening, what you do, and try to park. I'm gonna take 1 minute to tell a story of a guy who went overseas to work with a company. And they used to, you know, they will gather together a bunch of workers to go to work. And they get to work and they park on the farthest parking lot. And one of the guys questions, why are we parking all the way over there if we have all these empty spaces near the door? One of them said, well, we're early. If somebody's late, he can park right in the middle, so it's not gonna be as late. My point here, I'm trying to just, you know, call everybody to, we're here all together. We go and buy stuff here, we live, we make business, we do everything. Try not to, you know, fight about it. Try to make it sense and try to work it out. You know, it's not that hard to just do that extra step and do the extra mile. I mean, I know your situation, you call because somebody's there for many hours, but if you call a lot for that, when you really have an emergency there, there's, oh, here's he again, what's gonna happen? Look at your trucks, are they really blocking the, you know, the road? So look to everything that we do and try to be nice neighbors, help each other. Nobody's fighting with you, nobody's fighting with a business or another one. It's about just being us in here. We are struggling here trying to do business in town, trying to get everything work done for you. You know, if we, each one of us puts a little grain of sand, we'll have a beautiful beach over there. Thank you, sir.
Yes, the delivery trucks are common, most of the deliveries are common between all 3 businesses on which are currently occupied right now. Because when the Budweiser delivery comes in, the Budweiser truck stays right in across, blocks out the driveway and everything. It delivers to the 3 stores, 1, 2, and 3. So those are delivery guys, and they come in at their time, and if they don't find a parking, they are not going to park across the street, and then they will come down with all the deliveries. Like we have we have an order for 40 or 50 cases, probably more on the other side. So they come in, they deliver, and they run away. They are not there for more than 5 to 10 minutes. So
Okay, just so you know, they can't park in crosswalks. So just remind you guys.
Yeah, because what happens is if the car is parked right, and because the few of the employees from the library also parking on the Bacon Street, and when the delivery comes in, it's a big truck.
Yeah.
Cannot go in all the way, so they are half parked. I have seen them, I have seen them personally, but what am I supposed to do?
Tell them not to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't.
Because people are just gonna call the police and they're gonna come over and make a move. You can't park in crosswalks, because if you got somebody that is in a wheelchair, those crosswalks are designed so that wheelchairs and people with strollers and stuff can go through there and stuff, and it's accessibility, and it does create a blind spot. And I understand you guys are in a unique situation, but try to be respectful to others too that need to access this town center too. Okay. Chiefs, what's your thoughts?
I mean, obviously, you gotta abide by state law, that's number one. I mean, obviously, there's a courtesy aspect of it. The businesses have survived that way forever, so, I think it comes down to just being good neighbors. That's really all you can hope for, in that situation. You can't limit handicap parking, you can't park on crosswalks, can't do any of that stuff. So, at the end of the day, it would behoove everybody to try to be good neighbors, so that nobody loses out. I honestly, I support Jeremy as another department head and someone that knows what he's doing. I think that his recommendation is probably the way to go.
As the handicap spot, he could park in any of those spots. Time limit doesn't matter to him.
Right.
No handicap can be.
You can't put a restriction on time for a handicap spot.
No, but he's saying if you have the placard, you can park in any spot for anyone.
So like he said, if someone's in the handicap spot, he's got the handicap placard, he can go to the one to the left and unfortunately.
There's no time
Unfortunately,
restriction.
the law
You
is.
can't hold the time.
He's exempt.
So if he had an hour, it's marked an hour parking with a handicap spot. If he parked into it, he cannot be moved.
Handicap spot or not. If he's to the left one, having a handicap, they're a protected class. It's
Yeah. Anybody else have anything else? My warning call. Easy. Okay. What's your thoughts, guys? So, I think in this situation, we tried something. We tried giving a time limit. It's not obvious, it's obviously not working for everybody. It's kind of, I agree with Ann, it's being restrictive to some businesses. You know, in a situation like this, you know, where there's just so many differing opinions, we need to stick with what the law was. And I honestly think we need to rely on highway and Jeremy, what he was recommending at that point, and go with that. Because, again, he's in charge of the roads and the highways and doing all that. And I don't remember getting many calls or any complaints before. It wasn't really an issue. And then when it got changed, it became more of an issue. So,
Well, and it seems like the consensus.
consensus to go back the way it was.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the majority of everybody. And we want to hear everybody, and we understand some people are all the way over here, and some people are all the way over here. We need to go where it's best for everybody, and what's in the town's interest for everybody, and to be fair across the board, so. So, do you have anything?
Because they're always different, Jeremy is the head of the highway department, we have to rely on him. We expect the neighbors and the businesses, and just try to be nice neighbors, like Chief of Fire said.
Okay. So, we all good with going with Jeremy's recommendation?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so do a vote.
All right, so I'll make a motion to return the parking to 6 AM to 6 PM for 1 hour for all those lots, parking spaces on Main Street.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Rich Hacker, aye.
Derek Bellis, aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously. We'll return back to the way we were. If you can change the signs, Jeremy.
I'll order some new ones so they're real bright, because the old ones are very faded.
And I want everybody to know, we do have everybody's interest. We are trying to do more. We are trying to add more spots along the town to have more parking. We understand this is a very hard subject, but we're trying. We're looking at different ways of doing it, and one of the things is creating those spots along that. And we think we could do it with grant money, so it's not an expense to the town, and it will create a lot more options for everybody else, and a lot more parking for others to have. Okay? All right. So we're good with that, and we have to take a 5-minute break to allow for a switchover.
I get to get up at 4, I'm all retired, ready from
we're starting back up here. It is 8:05? 8:08? Okay. We had a brief intermission here with some pizzas being dropped off. Very nice. Thank you very much to our angels up at WCAT 12. Thank you very much for the pizza. So the next thing on our agenda is accept the articles for the special town and annual meeting. Okay. So we have those.
So, Article 29, you didn't have it, what did it say before? Wouldn't that have been the deletion? Deletions shown in strike-through and additions are shown in bold underlined text.
Did that go wrong?
Yeah, number 29.
So
you got rid of
should
that
have
one?
had a strikeout on what was there before,
I did. Oh, sorry.
but now it's
That needs
gone.
to come off.
It didn't print.
Here it is.
No, we got another meeting that night.
And when you do it, underneath, on the last page, it has Derek Belize clerk, but clerk is underneath me.
Where are you? Last page?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, the line went over.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think you want to have, you strike out first Tuesday in May of each year.
And on this day of 2018. At the bottom of it.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
On Article 29, Rich, what did you wanted,
Well, you should strike out on the first Tuesday in May of each year, and then after that, you'd have any
Oh.
Saturday in May after the town annual election.
Okay, all I did was accept all the edits that he made, so,
these were proposed by KP Law, right?
yeah, and all I did is accept edits, I didn't edit anything except what he accepted, so.
So you're gonna have to add it in and then do strike-through font, right? Yeah, because when you accepted it, it took it away because,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, so just add those, that line back in. So Article 24 is a new one.
That's the one I think
The
you.
planning board talked about the
Right.
other day.
Yep.
And that was his wording also, all of this is straight from KP Law.
Okay, they fixed the wording, that's fine.
On 25, where it's Section 5 revolving funds, Master General Law, Chapter 44, section 55, 53E, half G. Is that correct?
I believe it is, yes.
That's what he put in there.
Half G?
Yep. So we did G.
Half G by bylaws?
Well, don't you have their bylaws right there? Bylaws.
I believe that's how it is in the bylaws.
Yeah, but these are mass general law.
Yeah, it's
You're
mass
gonna-
general.
I see what you're saying. You're gonna check that.
Yes.
That's how it's written?
Yes.
That's how it's written.
Okay, alright. Hey, just looked odd, I didn't see the half before.
Has anything changed on the special?
Actually, that G should be an E.
E 25,
No, it's E and a half.
E and a half,
E
that,
and a half,
And then
25.
oh, E and a half, yes, I see the
E
E,
and a
okay,
half
yep,
G.
yep,
E and a half G.
yep,
Yep, that's correct.
that's correct, yep.
Right.
But is the G correct?
Yes.
It's not in here though.
Maybe it's in there. Okay.
Yeah, we can get rid of the G. Because this is part of the omnibus budget, I'm just gonna need these corrections to get to the printer for tomorrow.
I'll
Yep.
have them done.
Okay,
I plan on coming in tomorrow.
all right.
Oh, the bottom of the, page 2 on the special, 2021.
My paper didn't do very good, did it?
So the special town meeting articles, none of this has changed, right?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No, on the motions, they'll say where we're taking the money, but on the articles, they say to raise and appropriate.
Yeah, but we didn't add any, that's what I'm getting at. We didn't change any amounts or
No.
anything.
And on the annual, we did take out 2 for KP law. We took out the one about the town hall and the one about the, the one about the Shepherd Building, using the Shepherd Building, and the one about using the senior center, because he says that's redundant, you don't have to have a vote on that, because the select board is managing both of those, so you don't have to have it, so we took it out.
It's been there forever, right?
Yeah, but last year we passed over and
Oh, okay. Okay, Article 26, right before or take any action relative thereto, there's a period. On the annual. The annual, oh yeah, you got it.
Yep.
Oh, and this is gonna be done, right, this whole.
yep, I got that.
You good?
I think so.
You didn't see anything else? Do you have any questions?
gonna be picky, but can you check? Like this font size is not the same as that font size. And I think it's, maybe you copied it from
I
another
did, but I
part.
went in and changed it on.
And which one's that?
So like on the, what is this? This is the special.
Mhm.
So look at Article 4, 5, 6. Raise an appropriate transfer from available funds or borrow a sum is probably like a 10, and the rest of it's 11.
I'll double check the font, but when you said that, I went in and did all of them the same.
I think 3, 4,
3, 4, 5.
6. Yeah.
Yeah, they're different font size.
Okay.
11,
Yep.
9. Just do Control, Alt,
I did.
Control
I
A.
did.
I know, but it's Word.
I'll do it again.
It's Microsoft Word, so it's like,
And I think every time I change it from
You
8.5
gotta
by
reformat.
11 to 8.5 by 14, screws it all up. Okay, I'll check those.
Gotta show you all those tricks.
I'm good.
I think I'm good.
All right. Do a motion to accept as amended?
All right, so I will make a motion to accept the articles for the special and annual town meetings as amended. As amended.
Second,
All in favor?
Rich Ihacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes. The articles are accepted on the special and annual town meetings as amended. Thank you very much. And thank you very much, Karen, for working so hard on it. And
Okay, I have a
what?
what is it called? Constable coming tomorrow morning to post these, so I need you guys to have
You
your
need
signatures.
us to sign them before they,
So
we need to edit them before any of us leave.
Which is a good thing, it doesn't take you very long.
And then we can do one final check.
Good thing we got pizza.
Right.
What time is he coming?
Pizza's already here.
Tomorrow morning at 8:30, I think.
Really? Okay. So warrants and bills.
All right, before I read this, what's the deal with Marlin? And why are we only paying?
This has been paid. We only own this. But they added that because this check they haven't gotten yet, but it has been paid. Check went out today. Mm-hmm.
All right, a late charge, that's not so good.
Mm.
Any chance we can get that waived?
They said no.
Luke Marlin?
Oh, here, pass that to Jim. Down.
Because they hadn't even gotten the check when I called them today.
So wait a second, they're charging us that much more for 30 days?
Who are they?
The copier company.
You knew one? Because we did all this printing for the articles and all that?
No, no.
No, this is for the copiers, for the
lease.
Okay, I'll call him tomorrow.
You wanna hang on to that for the moment?
If I could.
Yeah.
Yep.
We just need to approve it once you talk to them.
Oh, that's nice. This is not red,
Just-
All right.
not in red.
No, no.
All right, I'll make a motion to pay the following warrants and bills. Number 89 payroll for $42,242.73. Number 90 vendors for $47,311.07. The following bills: Select Print Solutions for the town meeting, $2,339. Calco toilet paper for $104. Valley Communications Systems for the town admin phone, $88. Warren Electrical for the handicap door system. By the way, it's handy with an eye.
Nope.
You did that up above too. For $1,032.20. Karen Dusty stamps for the office, $69.60. I need a second.
Second,
All in favor?
Rich Hacker, aye.
Derek Bellis, aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously. We're gonna pay our bills and warrants.
All right.
Okay. So minutes, no minutes this week to approve. Karen's been very, very busy doing many, many other things. Okay, new business. Do we have new business? Do we have new business in the back? No?
No.
No, sir.
All right, old business. ARPA, American Rescue Plan Act is ARPA. We're in the process of reporting and funding for new money for ARPA. Do we have anything else on that?
Well, if you look at your ARPA thing, it's in old business, you'll notice that it says leftover $10,948.26. The reason for that is we're not doing any more for the nurses. So therefore, the nurses, the amount that we had put in for the nurses was 25. And we're not paying the nurses out of ARPA anymore because we're not doing the tracing. And so that gave us, when I went in to do the reporting, that gave us that $10,984 back into the account to allocate wherever you would like to allocate it.
Okay.
Well, the grit screw or the radios?
The radios are all paid for, right?
Yes, we're still waiting for a couple of numbers to come back for the lease, which may include an engineering study. So, you know, if you're looking to allocate it, you may want to do that just in case, you know, one of the assessments or the engineering study comes. We allocated that extra 10,000. It could potentially go a little bit above that. We just don't have those numbers yet. So, I mean, if you want to be on the safe side, you could allocate that and just to make sure there's absolutely enough between the three different towers. Because we're getting that information back daily, so we're just waiting.
Yeah, I don't want your project being held up.
Yeah, I mean, it honestly would
spending
give us
all that money.
It would give us a little bit of a
and-
cushion, yeah, a little bit of a cushion just in case we have to have that, a little bit extra, a few $1,000s for an extra engineering study.
Okay, to give you a little background on how the reporting is, you put in the amount that you received and the amount that you spent. You don't have to record what the difference is until 2026. So next year, we will put in the amount that we received, which would be both ARPAs, and then the amount that we spent during that next year. So since the reporting is done, the radios are not going to be reported until next year. So just allocating is for us to know where we're going to put the money, not for the government.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, just to add to that too, so each tower is owned by a different entity, so they negotiate in different ways, different businesses. For instance, one tower came back today that they're looking at a $2,500 engineering study and a $2,500 application fee for the process of putting the stuff on there. Another tower said that, you know, potentially that $2,500 covers everything. So that third tower, if they come back and they say the same thing, 25, and it's just gonna be over that $10,000 we allotted, so it's probably safer to just add that little bit of extra buffer in.
Okay, whatever he doesn't use, we
Yeah.
can allocate to the bricks group, right?
Yeah, we don't wanna be getting held up by
Yeah, it's like it
10
could be just
grand for
$2,000-$3,000.
something
Yeah.
that little bit over, you know?
Yeah.
I agree completely.
Okay, all right, I'm good. Yes, Joe?
I was wondering, if we don't use all the money for ARPA, would they take out that amount that we don't use out of the next grant?
No.
No?
No, ARPA's completely separate. ARPA's its own thing. It doesn't affect other grants
Yeah.
that we have. You know, typically when we get grants, there's a set amount. So if we get a grant for $10,000, it's $10,000 for that grant to use. Or if it's for specific equipment like an AED or whatever, you know, they're very focused on what you can use. ARPA is basically a funding for us that we could use for sewer, water, broadband, infrastructure type things. So it's kind of limited what we can use. Unfortunately, you can't use it towards the water departments because they're private. So that really limits what the town can invest in our water departments. We can invest in sewer, and we can invest in broadband infrastructure, radios, things like that, communications and stuff. And, you know, kind of, that's what we're doing now. And then also stuff for, you know, like hands-free, you know, we got in that, all the bathrooms, hands-free devices, things like that to help with COVID.
Yeah.
So, okay. I think it's a good move, just moving it over to put in for the radios, make sure that they have that buffer. Again, I don't want you guys getting held up or any glitches or anything like that. This needs to get done.
Thank you.
Now, Chief, as soon as you get the bills, just write ARPA on the bill.
Okay.
When you give it into Tammy.
Okay, I know Jim's gonna speak on that. We have some more information coming to the board in a few minutes, so.
Okay. So let's do a motion on that, allocating that money.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to allocate $10,984.25. 26 cents, I should have my glasses, to the fire department, police department radios.
Second,
All in favor?
Rich Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously. The money of $10,984.26 will be reallocated to the police and fire radio infrastructure fund. Okay. Good, thank you. All right. Was there anything else on that? And then, how much did we get for our next bout of ARPA?
So, Mr. Chairman, if I may, thank you, members of the board, thank you, audience and department heads that are here. Just a couple things I want to
So
report.
we're gonna go into the town administrator's report now then.
Okay, yep.
Okay, all right, so everybody knows we're going into the town administrator's report.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to report on a couple things. So we learned last week from our treasurer that the funds, we received a grant and it was entitled the ARPA Municipal Emergency Disaster Relief. And that was for $1,093,733. And so I was skeptical last week as to how to describe the use of those funds and what they can and cannot be used for. So I reached out to Brendan Sweeney from the Executive Office of Administration and Finance, Director of Intergovernmental Affairs at the State House, and that money is specifically earmarked and was part of a state ARPA bill that was passed recently, and that was made up of $7.5 million that was given to communities in Berkshire, Franklin, Hampden, Hampshire, and Worcester counties And that was part of an overall ARPA bill that was designated for municipal disaster relief related specifically to storms July 16th, July 18th, 2021, and inclusive, and July 27th, 2021. So those funds can be used for reimbursements for whatever the town had expended during that time period during the storms.
That's fantastic. That's when Coy Hill got totally destroyed.
Yeah, but did we expend those funds?
No.
We held off, right?
No, because I couldn't spend money I wasn't sure we were gonna have. We just repaired put a bunch of Band-Aids on everything, so.
So whatever the expenses that the town had incurred, or if the town didn't have the funds to finish the projects, whether it be roads that need to be repaired or whatever related to that storm, we can use those funds for
So
that.
we can still use that.
Correct.
So we could use that $1 million, give that to Jeremy to fix roads.
To do roads, to do projects and different things, in hopes of relating it to storms. You know, to that storm.
Oh, he could relate it to storms.
Oh, there's plenty of damage from that
There's
storm.
a lot of damage.
What do you think, can you use that money?
Maybe?
Yeah,
Yeah.
No, you don't sound like you need it though.
Yeah.
So that's, and we really have to thank our state legislative body, in particular Representative Smola, for all the hard work that he's done to bring this money home, and our state senator Ian Goby to help, rectify this. This was a part of a package that I know I had a discussion with Jeremy about. He was banging his head up against the wall trying to get all the federal funds in here and coordinating with MEMA and FEMA at the time. And it just we weren't getting anywhere from what he was telling me. And so now the state came in and they had this whole pile of money and they wanted to distribute it to these communities that were impacted by the storm specifically. And so this is for reimbursements and damage related to that incident back in 2021.
It's especially good because we didn't get any federal money.
Yeah.
This
Right,
is
we
state
were left
nothing.
completely hanging.
Yeah.
And Jeremy tried.
He
but
tried.
They said no.
What was the total for the state? What did they come up with? What was the number?
7 points.
7.5 million, in the town of Warren got 1,093,733.
Well, we were the hardest hit community in the state for that, pretty much. We were the only community in this area that even came close to that amount of damage. So that's why the federal government didn't approve that for us, because our area didn't equal $10 million and it needed, just like this area needed to, never mind the rest of the state.
Yeah.
So, that was nice.
So the specific line item language that was written into the bill, and I'll read this in for the record, for a reserve to provide extraordinary relief from the impacts of the storms of July 16th to July 18th, 2021, inclusive, and July 27th, 2021, in the counties of Berkshire, Franklin, Hampden, Hampshire, and Worcester, with qualifying expenses otherwise insufficient to receive federal disaster relief, provided that not less than 15 days in advance of the distribution. The Secretary of the Administration and Finance shall file a distribution plan along with the detailed descriptions of qualifying expenses for which communities will be reimbursed with the House and the Senate Committees on Ways and Means. And Chairman Smola is on Ways and Means as well. So this is a huge win for the town of Warren.
Very good, very good. That's awesome.
I'll
Let's
be
get those
busy.
roads fixed, Jeremy.
I was gonna say, I'll be busy. I already am busy, but yeah, do some more.
So with that news led to the next question of the second round of ARPA. And Brendan Sweeney had indicated to me that we will be receiving a second round of ARPA payment in June for the same amount that we received last time. So it was the $780,000. We'll be receiving another payment of that in June sometime.
Very good, very good.
So
Nice.
that's just a little bit briefing on the ARPA. I know, Mr. Chairman, that, you know, getting and trying to fine tune all the information with ARPA. I had spoken to Karen and we were working together on, you know, how we can, you know, get all this information to the board. And one suggestion that we talked about this afternoon was the role of trying to, you know, get departments to submit different projects to us so that we can bring them to the board. I would compile all those projects. I'd be responsible for getting that information to the board and going over any procurement matters with our accountant. And then Karen would be responsible for reporting anything that is approved by the board.
Cool. Sounds like you get a system. Sounds good to me.
If that works for the board.
Work for you?
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You got our approval.
Okay, so that's all I had, unless you had any questions on ARPA specifically.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. So, moving on to the next topic that I just wanted to address into our talking for this evening. I know at the last meeting, the board had asked me to kind of do something along the lines of an analysis on the impacts of the above minimum for school contribution in relationship to the budget. And I provided, and this is just, Mr. Chairman, this is just an estimate. I would be very cautious of how these numbers are presented because of the fact that they are very fluid in the nature of, we don't know exactly what new growth is going to be yet. We're working with the assessors to establish that new growth number. It does change. I've spoken to Priscilla a couple times about it. She's trying to get that final number, and she's going to have that soon, you know, in probably late summer. And also, it doesn't reflect on the evaluations as of yet, because we are in a 5-year evaluation period with the assessors. The evaluations are still being determined. I know Priscilla and her board are actively getting those evaluations along with the consultant that they have to get those in. So that's some areas in which they can change. But as you can look here on your estimates, you know, this is based on, you know, the first column is based on 430,000, which was what the above minimum contribution was last year. I know in the omnibus it said 543, but actually it was 429 because the town was able to get back some money because of the agreement that's in place. So basing it upon 430,000, and then basing it upon $1 million, and then basing it upon $1.7 million. And so these are estimates, and as you can see, they have a pretty significant percentages different and increasing. So, you know, you're looking at a 16% increase on the overall. If you went with the 430,000, a 25% increase if you were at the $1 million, and a 35% increase if you were at the $1.7 million mark. And these numbers I did in consultation with our town accountant, and also with regards to our assessor's office as well. We both sat down and kind of went over those numbers and how we came up with those numbers. And these are purely estimates. And you know, a little history on tax rates. You know, a tax rate can go up, it can go down. And if your tax rate goes down, it doesn't necessarily mean your bill is going to go down. Your bill could also go up. So, and that's a common misnomer by a lot of people. Oh, the tax rate went down, so my bill should go down. Well, that's not necessarily. It's based on a lot of different other factors, such as evaluations and so forth. So
you just don't want them both going up.
Right.
That would be bad.
Yeah. So These are situations that, these are, these are numbers that are pretty, pretty serious in terms of, increases, depending on what the school, comes in at. So these are, some very serious, realities.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we got the figures now, so if somebody asks, we got an answer for them.
That's
To
right.
the best of our ability.
Correct.
We can't, it's not a precise thing.
It's not a precise thing,
Too
and
much fluid motion, too many factors going into it,
it's a good guesstimation.
but,
And that bill that went through the House, right?
Correct, yep.
It's on its way to the Senate, had a lot of money that would hopefully bring that number down.
Mhm.
for the schools. that
For the
was-
schools.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a $1.7 million request from the school approving would bring us up to a 35%.
Increase.
Increase 35%.
Yeah, be catastrophic for the taxes.
Yep. Yeah.
Jim, how is the tax rate calculated? Is it the 462 divided by 8? Or is it some other,
So,
like you have 18.27 right in the first column.
mhm.
How does that number get calculated?
18.27, so you have to take the levy, you have to take the raise and appropriate and back it into the levy number.
Okay.
Total to be raised. Okay.
You good?
Well, I didn't quite,
Oh.
I can ask him later though.
No, yes.
So the 12 is the raise and appropriate, 12,485?
The raise and appropriate is the 10,745,812, and that's basing it upon the omnibus budget plus articles from the special town meeting in November.
Okay. Okay, I still don't really understand, but all right.
It's a kind of a confusing formula.
All right,
Yeah. The key to it is if this $1.7 million was approved, the tax rate could potentially go up by 35%,
Correct.
which would be devastating to our community.
Well, even 25%.
Even 25% at $1 million. So, yeah. Well, we got the numbers, so we got an answer.
Moving right along,
Excuse me, can I have a comment?
Yes, sir.
Well, I think we all live in, as we live today, it's a situation where there's a domino effect that definitely is not an option. The rise of prices is incredible. A couple of years ago, an ice cream cone in a fast food place, which I really liked, was $1. Yesterday it was $2.99. So that's a lot, and it's a chain effect. You know, milk was $2, now it's $5. This is where we're living. And I mean, we shouldn't be surprised of this. The school is asking, for help like that. Yeah, it's detrimental. It is, but this is where we're living.
The problem with that is the income for these people isn't going up.
Yeah.
And because the income's not going up, it's not matching the rise and the dramatic rise of things that's going up. And, when it costs for people to pay for things, they have to be able to afford to live. And you can't price out the town to a point where it's hard for them to survive. And the last thing we want to do is say your tax rate's so high, and you're paying so much more for taxes on your property now, that you're gonna have to make a decision whether you're, for some people, it'd be a vacation, you can't go on this vacation now. For others, it might be something as simple as, well, you can't buy this, instead of buying, 2 loaves of bread, you can only cut it down to 1 now per week. Or instead of buying, brand name meat for whatever, you gotta buy the generic, to cut down on the costs, to make it more affordable. Or some people might just decide, I can't afford to eat, or I can't afford to pay my car insurance, or I can't afford to pay my electric bill. So we wanna keep these prices down and affordable as best as possible, while balancing that scale. It's a scale, we gotta balance, we gotta be able to provide money in certain locations to keep them functioning, keeping things moving, and not tip it too much to where it hurts the residents either. So you gotta constantly keep that balancing.
And I agree completely. Just trying to explain, or take a look at why everything is happening this way. If an ice cream goes 300% up, you have to pay, electricity, gas, all the expense, everything's going up.
And that's
Just
the
in
thing.
the same boat.
Oil's going up, all these fuel expenses are going up.
And we are getting paid the same.
Electric bill's going up. I don't think the electric bill's ever gonna go down, because typically when an electric bill goes up, you never see it go down if the economy gets better or does better. It just stays up.
Yeah.
So that becomes the new norm, because they're getting their money. At least with gas and fuel bills, they drop down based on the economy and the availability, and there's fluctuations between it. So, yeah. What else, sir?
So, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Moving on to the next item, I've gotten the report from the accountant, the monthly report with regards to the expenditures, and just a couple things I wanted to draw attention to was, obviously, we're at, a very high percentage, almost 95% for our legal bills for our outside town council. So, I did send out a notice to all the departments to start preparing their, any line item transfers that they may have. And we're gonna be monitoring those. I'll be working with FinCom and in the board to try to get those, rectified as quickly as possible. So the new report is in. That was one of the closest areas right there. Also, while we have the fire chief here, the fire chief and I met briefly this afternoon. We do have the contract ready to go. Speaking of on the ARPA situation, that needs to be signed for the radios. So we met, we have a 3-year maintenance plan incorporated.
That's the one I gave you this evening.
Yeah, the 3-year maintenance plan is incorporated in here, and we're seeking for the board to sign that.
Okay. Is it the whole board or just me?
Just you.
Okay.
Yeah. And then also, I wanted to do, I went over to the school committee meeting this week, and just so happened to be sitting next to the gentleman from Guardian Energy, and it was talking about him again with the EV station, and that outstanding bill that was provided to us. He was gonna get me some better information. He provided me some information. Now it's like at a $5,900 bill plus restocking, and this is the only thing that he had provided to me. I said, this is really not going to work. He's really trying to do more business in town with the school department, and so he's going to be getting back in touch with me because this is really for the amount of what they did. It's not really going to be working out to our interest. So he's going to be getting back in touch with me with
We
that.
have Jeremy send him a bill for having to remove it.
So that's still be a work in progress there. Also, I know at one of the previous meetings, the fire chief had asked to have a municipal hearings officer be looked at, to fill that vacancy, to have somebody on that board. I had asked the chief if he had somebody in mind. The chief responded that he wanted to approach our tax collector, Carrie Schmidt, and Carrie had accepted the position.
Yes, that's correct. She stated she would do that. I sent an email and I CC'd her on that. We're hoping to get the board to appoint her as that position, and so she can go to the upcoming training, which is on May 22nd, for the initial training for the municipal hearings officer. I think Carrie has a personality that you know, she's a hard worker. She's involved in the town. She's not afraid to, you know, voice an opinion, which is what we would need from someone that may have to look at both sides of things and be an impartial judge on, you know, if we were to get to that point. Hopefully we never do, but, you know, if we get to a point where we had a habitual offender or something like that, I think she has the personality and the ability to handle that situation and listen, you know, to both sides and make a decision that might potentially be tough and not liked by that party. So I think she might be a good person for that, and she graciously accepted that she would take that role on.
Okay. So
now, do we have a is that position already available to us, or do we have to, is that something that have to go to an annual town meeting to create that position?
I'm not aware that would need to do that. It's not a full-time position. It's not I don't think so.
There's no pay involved.
Yeah, there's no pay.
No
I mean,
pay?
no, I mean, and I thought it'd be better to have someone that was in the municipal building take that role on, because they're here anyways, you know. This is not gonna be something she needs to do weekly or anything like that, so, you know, I think it's just something that the board would appoint any other, you know, committee member or something like that to.
Okay. And is there any restrictions with her being the tax collector, overseeing that board?
I don't see any, no.
I mean,
She's not overseeing, she's just gonna be a
No, she's
hearings
not
officer.
she's just a hearings officer. She's not running anything. She doesn't have any employees underneath her. I mean,
No,
she's
but-
already appointed as the sexual harassment officer and stuff.
Is there any way that there could be a lien on a property due to fines?
No, no, I don't ever see it getting to that point. It's more of it's more of trying to redirect the behavior of a habitual offender by bringing upon non-criminal citations that they would be required to pay at that point if they were found to be in violation.
So she'd be, the ACO gives a citation, that would be the person that.
Yeah,
appeals
potentially,
or-
I don't know if ACOs, you know, yes, I suppose that, yes. You know, specifically, this particular position pertained to building and fire code stuff, so I don't know, I don't want to overstep my bounds and answer for an ACO issue, but specifically, this position was through the fire marshal's office for building and fire code violations that would be non-criminal in nature.
Okay.
I suppose that they could fill other roles too, you know, with other departments if they were to initiate programs where they could also issue citations.
Yeah. I don't see any reason why not to. She's definitely a fair person. She's always impartial.
So do we need some paperwork first before we appoint?
So I just need like
Draft up an appointment?
I'll draft up an appointment, and then a motion would need to be made and seconded and voted on.
So next week's agenda?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. I also got a correspondence this week from Grip Cultivation LLC. And they had, it was an email, and I think, Mr. Chairman, maybe you were also CC'd in on it. They're interested in talking about establishing a cannabis business in town, and they had listed some information that they were looking to get in terms of what the town's requirements were. And they have also reached out to Dex Trust with regards to possibly doing something over on Pulaski Street, 50 Pulaski Street. So, it's, I don't know if the board would want to hear from this, this individual or this entity at some point, or if you want to have a presentation in front of the board of some sort.
Yep, it would have to be a public hearing.
Is this the one that we talked about, that we were gonna do the public hearing on the 19th?
Yep.
Okay.
It's gotta be a public hearing. What it is they're looking at, Heel Inc., the other place.
Oh.
In the white building down there on Pulaski Street. They are getting together with this other company for the financial backing to be able to do that. So by doing that, it's basically this new company that's taking over and financially backing the other one, and they're gonna come in and try to do a host community agreement with us. So that would actually, we'd have to do a whole new host community agreement with them, so.
So when were they gonna come in?
19th, because I have to have 2 weeks to post the meeting.
So
Yep.
it's GRIP?
It's Grip Cultivation LLC.
Yep.
Okay.
And I believe they have one of the governors. The governor has so many marijuana cultivation permits that he can kind of directly do. He has like 4 or 5 of them or something like that. It was explained to me, and they have one of them.
The Grip Cultivation is stating that they have a economic empowerment priority license.
Yes, that's from the government.
Yeah.
And what kind of facility do they wanna do?
Marijuana growing.
Growing,
Cultivation, yeah.
okay. 'Cause our
They were looking at retail, and I expressed to them, we don't allow retail. And also, Dex Trust laid it out to them, saying that retail would not be tolerated for marijuana within the mill complex or the town of Warren. They wouldn't support that. And if they were gonna do it, they'd have to do retail so many miles outside the limits of Warren.
Yeah, but we allow retail, don't we, in our zoning bylaws, right? Dude, we were talking about this yesterday, right?
Right.
I think we get 1 in the mill and 1 in commercial.
Do we?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
I thought we did away with retail,
No, I think we,
unless it was medical marijuana and cultivation.
yeah, do you remember now? I thought,
I was going off of, just a discussion that we had.
I don't think we had retail. I thought we did away with that.
actually, this chart will be the. Ooh. Yeah, we allow retailers 1 in, so special permit, 1 in the commercial and 1 in the mill.
Okay.
We allow cultivators. Ooh,
What?
wait a minute.
Is that the most updated one?
Cultivators are allowed in the rural. We need to, well, wait, does this special license override zoning?
No.
All right, we need to make sure that they can actually do that in the mill then. Right? It's special permit in rural. The mill Mills and Commercial,
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, that commercial area is along 67.
You'll have to look into it.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I would think Rip would have looked at our bylaws.
Yeah, I did instruct, I instructed one of them to consult our bylaws before
Yeah.
coming to the meeting.
I mean, we can go ahead and schedule the hearing, but have them look. It's on the website, planning board bylaws and the zoning bylaws to make sure.
Yeah, okay.
And maybe if they're doing medical cultivation, it's different than.
No.
I don't know how,
And not unless it's specified in the zoning law.
yeah. But these other things, this MTCCCP and DR. Let's see. MMTC. Treatment center cultivation and treatment, it's treatment center dispensary / retail. So I guess if they're doing treatment center cultivation,
Medical marijuana.
then they're okay. But, so, a cultivator, an entity licensed to cultivate, process, and package marijuana and to transfer to other marijuana establishments, but not to consumers.
So our bylaws are out there, right? They're on our website and stuff, so
Yeah, that's.
anybody that would come to town would have to conform to those bylaws.
Yeah, so just, make sure they look and, because, you know, we may not be interpreting what they do
Right.
when we're looking right here, so.
Right. Also, I received correspondence from Deborah Bevan from the U.S. Department of Commerce this morning in relationship to our EDA application grant. And she had indicated that one of the sections with regards to the budgetary information that was completed by PRCC wasn't completed properly. So in order to get it to the proper format to which she wanted to, a change needed to be made, which was made, and it was honored by them. So it was submitted today.
So we're all set.
You know, the change was made. It was relationship to for professional services, it just needed to be stated that you were going to be retaining a professional service to provide the consulting services to develop a master plan. We didn't need to break down all the costs associated with the master plan as described in the budget that was submitted by CMRPC. So the correction was made, it was forwarded to Ms. Bevan, and she accepted it, and she's gonna let us know what the outcome is.
Okay.
So that application is
Still
now-
getting processed.
Yeah, but it's like in there now,
It's
right?
underway.
It's in there.
Yeah, it's really in there.
Moving forward.
Yeah.
It's not just in the inbox, it's
No.
like,
No, they were
Somebody's looking at
meeting
it.
on that today.
oh, they were, okay.
They were gonna meet on it today, so.
Wow, so we could hear soon, maybe.
She didn't give us a time frame because I asked her that. I
Yeah.
said, did you have an estimate? I really can't, she didn't really have it, but she liked the project personally as a side note. So,
Well, it's good, if she's on our side.
yeah.
Can use that money.
So, one other final thing that I have for this evening was, I know last week the board had talked about some stuff with Tanko lighting, okay? I do have some additional information because the board had asked me with regards to seeing if there was any parts out there that, were outstanding that the town may own or have possession of. So when I was looking for that, I did some additional research with regards to Tanko lighting that I wanted to bring to the board's attention. One in particular was a pretty detailed report back in 2017 that was done I'm not sure if you guys had seen this one, but it was the LED streetlight conversion project, final reporting by Tanco Lighting. It was a pretty detailed report on how they converted our lighting system to the LED. It was pretty interesting. I'd like the board to have that just, as a reference point. Also, last week was reported that any new company coming in would have to do like an itemization or take an inventory of our existing poles. However, when I contacted Tanco, I asked them if they had an inventory of our poles and what exactly, the poles that we have in the operation of them. And they provided this report to me. We have an inventory, so now I have a copy of the inventory of our poles. So it's about 467 lights, not poles, but lights, in total that is on the plan for the maintenance of these lights. And these are all the listing of the Cobra heads and the where they're located and the installation day and the heads if they're single or dual heads, the size. So this is a very good thing to have for the town to know where the lights are in town. So we have that as part of our initiation contract with Tanco way back when. The town has been involved with Tanco for several years. This is dating back, as far as I could see, back to 2016, 2015, with a relationship with Tanco. And when I was going back in trying to research, the parts situation, there was only one period of time in which they have a parts that are on hold, and I'll share. I want to go in detail with this. This is in relationship to Ware Road, that light over there. So there was a report initiated by the town back in August 16th of 2021, and that was for the Ware Road issue with the non-functioning light that needed to be installed there. And that report was issued on the 16th, and then an estimate was then delivered to the town on the 31st. And then on the 15th of September, the town gave the approval to get that installed. So then at that particular junction, Tanco ordered the parts to have that installed. Around December, Tanco notified the town that the parts had come in and that they wanted to install them on December 28th. So they got the approval to do that, and they were going out to install on Ware Road. When they got to the pole, they noticed that there was secondary wiring that was required, that is done by National Grid. And that wiring was not done, so they couldn't install that light. So they stopped that process from installing, and so they held on to the part. And they still have the part today. Tanco doesn't have it, but the sub has it, which is Universal Electric. And Universal Electric serviced the contract for the town of Warren. With Universal Electric, they have a relationship with Tanco, and the wiring has been replaced. The secondary wiring has been replaced by National Grid in January or February, and so it was after the expiration of the contract. The contract expired on December 31st of 2021. So now, therefore, Tanco's kind of in a position, well, we can't go out and put the light up because we don't have an active contract. The part is still at Universal. If the board was to decide to continue its relationship with Tanco, they could do that immediately, or we could, get that part and go to whatever vendor the board chooses to go with.
Yeah, but we've already paid for the part.
You've already paid for, well, the part has not been paid. The part is about a $900 part And from what I understand, that bill has not been generated as of yet from
That
Tanko.
bill has been paid.
Has been paid? They said that it wasn't paid.
Yeah, because we approved to pay that, and, you know, they ordered the parts, they wouldn't even order them unless we paid for them, right?
They said, and, you know, they have acknowledged to me that that has been paid.
Okay.
Because he called me up and he asked me why we paid it on an estimate, and I said, because it didn't say estimate on your paperwork. So we paid it.
Okay.
Okay.
So.
So we own those parts,
Mhm.
or they owe us money
Mhm.
for the parts. So, yeah, if we can figure out that, and if you can get with them, Karen, to get that information, because, you know, somewhere in the line, and I'm sure they charged whatever account at some point, and Tammy's probably got a record of it, that they got paid. If that's the case, we need to get the parts from them,
Sure.
or they need to go out and put the part, you know, put that up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and this is something we did way before, and it's kinda, I don't like the fact that they're holding us to either you give us a new contract, or we're not putting we're not putting it up. You know, that's not right. You know, we weren't pleased with their service in the first place, because they're not very responsive to our requests. So, that's where I stand.
Yeah, I mean, one of the problems we had is, like, we were responsible for figuring out which lights were out, as opposed to them going around as part of the contract to go and do a check every, I don't know, whatever it would be, to see if the light, you know, there were lights out in various spots. I remember that conversation probably in the summer, right?
Yeah.
So, and then I also checked with the accountant with regards to, you know, a new entity that would have to be, you know, decided on, and we would have to engage in procurement services.
Yep. That's fine.
So do an RFP?
Right.
I don't know, I mean, the contract's up, and it's probably not a bad idea to just see what other people can offer, I guess, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And if, I mean, if Tanko looks good, we can stay with Tanko, otherwise, you know. We are, so we talked about the other vendor, Shepherdson or whatever. I mean, we are gonna pay a certain fee, a management fee to Tanko. Right, because it's Tanko and then a sub. So there's gonna be a fee there. Can we, what's the place that they use? You said
Universal Electric is what the sub is designed for this area, and I believe he also, or that entity also does Palmer as well.
So, I mean,
Maybe he could just bid with us directly.
Yeah.
Cut Tanko out of it. Why would you go to a company in California?
Right, again, you have that layer of, an admin layer of probably at least 10% or 15% over.
And time to react.
Time to react.
Yeah.
And if, yeah, maybe.
You know, some of these smaller companies don't also have some of like the requirements from OSHA and the standards. So it is kind of a specialized field. And as Jim had indicated when he was talking last week, you know, with the bucket truck and having proper insurances and stuff, those are key things that you have to, you know, keep an eye out on for.
Yeah. So I'd say, yeah, start the process, procurement, see if we can get, you know, maybe Shepherdson will put in through again, and they might get it. Or maybe Universal might want to do it. And if Tanko wants to put something in, so be it. You know, I'm just not really happy with just sticking with Tanko because we've been doing it for years, because we haven't been getting the service that we deserve. So, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Good.
Very good. And that's,
Anything else?
That's the conclusion.
All right, thank you. And if you could track down our money or our light.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, find out, make sure they know about the 900.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to
Actually, it was
see that.
11 something.
Do you,
Yeah, I think it
okay,
was
so
more than 9.
More than that, all right, yeah,
It
make
was
sure that,
11 something.
yeah.
Mr. Chairman, before you sign the contract for police and fire radios, I just want to give you a real quick background on that. So the reason why it took a couple extra weeks to get the contract is because they had to make sure their build-out times reflected the chain of supply issues that we're focused around the whole country and everything that's with us right now. So just so the board is aware, the time frame for this, if you look at the contract, we're hoping to get everything tested and working order by the beginning of November. That's the goal, just so you're aware of what you're signing. We're gonna, as they source the equipment, as everything comes in, as we work around the leases for the 3 towers, the end project goal is November of this year.
Okay. Very good. Thank you. Do you have anything about the contract at all?
Nope, I went over it with Adam and I thought it was very good.
Yeah, there's one thing that had to be amended, that's, they changed, we caught one thing earlier today. There was supposed to be a 3-year service contract with it. It was a typo, it said 1 year, so we made sure that they fixed that, and that's why I brought it here tonight, so.
That's a big typo.
Yeah. If the chairman would be so kind as to sign it, I can take it tonight, and I will make sure they get it tomorrow first thing, and I'll bring a copy back to the board tomorrow.
You guys good with it?
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I think it's page number 4. There's different milestones that are spelled out on the very first page as to when certain percentages of payment is due as things come in, and they'll invoice for each one of those steps when is appropriate, when we're at that, and we'll just pay it out as it goes to get to that final amount at the bottom.
They lay out their holidays and everything, huh?
Oh, they lay out, I
Basic
mean,
holidays.
like I said, I mean, I talked to the owner of the company themselves, and they've had to go down a whole different road in terms of, because of what's happened in our world recently, they really need to, every company needs to protect themselves in terms of times and everything, because again, the supply chain has just been so bad that they don't wanna get into a contract and then not be able to honor it, so.
No.
It is what it is.
Understandable.
Yeah.
And if you're good, do a motion to approve, sign the contract.
Okay.
And as soon as we have the numbers for the 3 towers and those leases and everything like that, we will also have them, I expect to have them in the next couple weeks. Each one of them may be a little bit different, because they are 3 different companies, but we're working our way through that as well, and we already had talked to FinCom and the board. Obviously, that's not built into our current FY23 proposed budget, so we will have to go to a special town meeting to get that amount, but we've already planned for that, so.
No, you wanna?
I'm okay. You guys check, it's just a typo, right?
You wanna do a motion?
Let me see this. I wanna see what I'm motioning.
The contract is
All right,
modular.
so I'll make a motion to accept and sign the statement of work between the town of Warren and Modular Communications for the police and fire radio project, the radio infrastructure upgrade project.
Second,
All in favor?
Rich Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously, and it is approved. And I guess I'm a customer, right?
Yes.
Is it 28? Sign.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir.
One step closer.
Okay.
I will make sure I get a copy back to the board. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Thank you, sir. Just make sure that page is all set and it's right.
Yes.
So,
I will double check it, Liz.
right. So, next thing is comments and concerns. We have emails from Maya, refund to apply to the renewal.
This is correspondence, right?
Yeah, but we don't have a correspondence, so I stuck it under comments and concerns.
Oh, haven't we had correspondence in the past?
I don't know, have we?
Yeah.
Okay. I will put it back in.
So, yeah. Comments and concerns.
Okay.
What are we looking at?
We have
They
a
need
credit.
from us?
We have, no.
Credit?
Yep, we have a credit of $694. They want to know what we want to do with it. Do we want to have a check issued? Do we want to retain the credit to apply to future invoices, or do we want to apply it to our renewal invoices? In the past, we've always applied it to the renewal.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd say so.
yeah, apply it to the renewal. You good
That's
with
all
that
I
there?
need.
I'm good.
All I need is a little check mark.
All right, senior center letter for new dishwasher from ARPA funds. You got that, right?
So she sent me an email asking me about the ARPA funds money for the dishwasher.
What ARPA funds money for the dishwasher?
Yeah, apparently she asked if she could have ARPA funds money for a dishwasher. And I told her there was not any in for this part of the ARPA, but there might be some in the next. So she says in order for her to start looking for it, she needs a memo from the Board of Selectmen saying that she would be able to do that.
They don't have the money yet.
Yeah, this is like.
I know,
And can we spend it on a dishwasher?
we can because of sanitation issues.
Okay.
Because of COVID,
Okay.
sanitizing. She's gonna have to wait till June.
Yeah, we don't have the money.
I know, that's what I told her, but she asked me if I would write, and then Tammy also asked me, so they could start the procurement, if I would write the letter. So I
But
just wanted to pass that
I just don't
by.
want them going out there and buying something when we don't have the money for them to buy it with.
I mean, what if we didn't get the money, something
Yeah.
came up and they said, well, we can't give it to you now?
Okay,
I mean, they can start it, but we can't pay for anything.
Yeah, why would they need a letter from us to look for a dishwasher?
Yeah.
So they could get like quotes and stuff and put it together as a package, and we could bring it to the board, I mean.
Yeah, but it's probably gonna be different in June.
Right, yeah.
But she just wanted to make sure that we were okay with her doing that. So she asked me in the email to have you write a letter.
I don't think you need to write a letter, but.
Yeah. Until we get the money and until we know for sure what we can use it for.
Yeah, because then we can
What if
allocate
they change
it.
the rules?
They're not, they've already said, didn't they already
Well,
say
they already
that
said they
they're
were
just
gonna give
using
us
the final
700
roll?
something.
And they said
Are
that
the
they're using
rules
the.
still the same?
Yes, that's what they, isn't that what they
The
said?
the final, it would be under the final rule, so you would be eligible to use it because you got less than $10 million, you could use it for pretty much any municipal expense.
Oh.
If we did a letter, we have to make sure they know that these funds will not be made available till
Till after.
June, till after June.
I mean, that's an
When we
estimate.
get, yeah, when we get the next round of ARPA, it's not gonna be in this round.
That's what I told them.
But when we get the next round of ARPA, you know, we could do a letter and say, yeah, you can look, don't buy.
Right, don't
Don't
buy.
be slipping no credit cards yet.
I mean, they could gather fact-finding information, you know,
Yeah, specs.
get specs out, get some
Right.
ideas out, and then when we're ready, you know, we could, you know, submit a letter to all the departments saying, all right, you can submit projects to the board for review.
Right, I mean, that's another thing. What if other things take priority and we decide, well, we shouldn't really do the dishwasher under ARPA?
Right.
Because other stuff comes up.
So is it okay if I just send her a note saying, go ahead and start looking? Get the information so you can propose a project when the ARPA funds come in.
Yes.
Yes,
If
and
you
let her
say-
know it's not
if you
gonna
say it
be
like
till
that.
after June or June timeframe.
For the
we don't have
purposes
them.
of proposing a project.
Yes.
Exactly.
And
Yes,
so
no guarantees.
So when we talked about this before, I think that we were gonna have all departments, I know the police chief had indicated about, you know, getting some quotes and some ideas for a new cruiser as well. So if all the departments put the requests through, you know, through us, through me, and then we would go through it with Tammy to work on, to see if there's any procurement issues, and then we would funnel all of that to the board.
Yeah, we just agreed on that in the
Yeah.
beginning of the meeting.
Right.
Right, so that's.
So yes, follow that process
Right.
Yeah.
as Jim laid out, so we get control on it. And, you
I will
know,
definitely
again,
let her know.
let her know,
Yeah.
don't be buying anything.
Right.
Yeah.
I will let her know that.
All right. All right. So next one, KP Law
Just an FYI, we got notice that there's a lawsuit
for a
between
law suite,
the Board of Health. Huh?
for a law suite.
Oh, it is a law suite.
Oh, did I do sweet
Is it
again?
fully furnished?
Oh, my gosh.
I thought he had-
We're working Karen too hard.
I thought he had extra sugar.
So the Board of Health and then the person owning 29 Bacon Street.
Yeah.
But the.
So
law
we're being
office-
sued?
No,
Well,
no,
there's-
Board of Health is.
Board of Health is
suing
suing them.
Yeah, Board of
Yeah.
Health versus,
There's been issues with the
Yeah, no.
residents, right?
right, and the owner.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was just an FYI. That's all I have.
And you're tracking that, right? Okay.
Yep. We're involved in that one, yeah.
I think everybody's
Working
involved
to a
in that
solution.
one.
Unfortunately, that wasn't anything new, that's a new one, so there's nothing that, you know, we could have gotten,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Does anybody else have any comments or concerns?
I'd just like to say we have a new FinCom member,
Really?
Karen, and I can't think of.
Kelly,
Kelly.
no, Karen,
Kelly
Kelly.
Garay or something?
Garay, the same one we appointed
Yep.
for the election.
Yep.
She is now in FinCom.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
So
Awesome.
when Madeline takes off for the summer, we'll have still
Full
three.
board. Already.
Yeah,
Yep.
so we'll have a full board, so that's good.
Very good.
The other thing I was gonna mention is, did you see the email about the MVP listening session that CMRPC wants to do on the 26th? They wanna do it at the end of our meeting.
Okay.
So,
They watched one of our meetings, right?
I don't think they have.
We tried to warn them.
Yeah. So, you know, I mean, it's,
We could probably do a very scaled down meeting
Yeah.
that night, just
so, I'll
to
tell them,
facilitate it.
I'll tell them yes,
Yeah.
But, yeah, we
We'll
will have to keep that.
We'll keep the agenda light.
Yeah, we'll keep it light, keep it
Well,
short.
you guys remember that.
Yeah.
Are they bringing pizza?
Yeah, they have to bring pizza, right?
All right.
Okay.
The audience is here.
Yes, they, yeah. All right, did you have anything else?
No, that's it, I think.
Pine Grove Cemetery Earth Day cleanup was really nice.
Yeah,
About 40+ people show up.
wow, very good.
It was a very beautiful day, and it was very successful.
Very good. It's always great to see the volunteers, everybody getting out, doing something for their community, and this is definitely a good cause to get out there and do that. Appreciate it.
There were
Very
people
good
from
job.
other towns too.
Hmm?
It was listed.
Yeah.
Nice up there.
Yep, I know them all. I know where they're coming.
Anything else, sir?
I can complain that they put a picture of me and I look very young, but that's another story.
All right. We also have, the meeting with West Brookfield. They were asking us to
May
meet.
10th.
Huh?
May 10th.
Yep,
6:15.
they were asking us to meet with them. Are you guys good with meeting with them? I'm good.
Yep, I'm good
I
with
could
that.
do May
It's a
10th.
Tuesday,
It's at 6:30?
6:15,
6:15, yep.
in the lower meeting room.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think it's an option not to go.
Be there. All right, so we'll all be there. Yeah,
must.
definitely
I've already
schedules.
posted it,
Very good.
6:15.
6:15, I've already posted it. Not on the website, out there. I have it.
All right. You gonna be there, Jim?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so we'll all be there. We'll represent as a town.
Good.
Very good. There's that, and then, Mr. Condrat
Yeah.
brought something. Warren Housing Authority, when we were discussing about a maintenance person, and you brought up that you thought the town was hiring one already?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was, in here, it's actually for the Warren Housing Authority, which is separate from us. The town is not hiring a maintenance person at this time, but I can understand where that would be, yeah. So,
Oh.
very good.
Speaking of Warren Housing Authority, so I was talking to Carrie Schmidt today. You know, they lost their cable agreement, their low-price cable. She mentioned if they invested in an antenna, they'd be able to get HD TV. That might be a good replacement. You know, they're all wired for, cable, and they could hook that into the cable, I guess, so that might be a
That
good
would be
option. I don't know what's.
good for them to do.
Yeah.
Unfortunately with us, they're their own housing authority.
Oh, yeah.
They have their own board, and
Yeah.
what they vote on, we can't go in there and tell them, we don't like that, we want you to undo it. That's their
Yeah.
property, their thing.
Yeah. But it's a good idea, I mean, it's
Yeah.
something they can try.
So if anybody's listening from the Warren Housing Authority, maybe do the antenna, the big
Yeah.
antenna for everybody in HD receivers. All right, anything else?
No.
I don't think I have anything else. You guys have anything? Joe?
No.
Jim?
No.
Anybody out in Zoom land? Do we have anybody in Zoom land?
We do, 3 people.
No.
Going.
Gone, all right.
You missed the pizza. Out there
Yeah.
somewhere.
Next meeting, it's May 5th, 6 PM. Correct? Okay,
Yep.
so we'll all see you then, and your favorite part.
Motion to adjourn?
Second,
All in favor?
Rich Ihacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye.
David Dufresne, aye. We are adjourned. Very good.